8:15, we've got an interview with a guy named Rick Prado. Rick Prado is in, I want to say, yesterday's folder. He's already recorded. He was originally supposed to air. Do what? It takes a minute. And instead of having the date, you have the title that I put on top.
Yeah, I'm literally looking at it.
Yeah, there it is. We're good.
Where are you at? I still don't have it.
I'm on YouTube, just like the whole bit. But I'm not on mobile. I'm on the...
Okay, so I searched your show.
Yeah.
You have to click that for me, and then it's there. If I didn't click it, I couldn't find it. Co-hosting a sports show.
Which one? Oh, fun. Oh, because Mew says that. Are the mics on?
And then, like, they're talking, they're like, yeah, man, when I use my 7-iron, and Dylan Cruz hits it deep, and it's a home run. So anyways, Buzzy, and then at the end of the game, Doug goes, which highlights are you going to use? I was like, I don't have any. Like, you didn't call the game. I don't know what you want me to do. I was like, I have part of a Dylan Cruz home run.
Blair asked me last night, how's Doug and Buzzy doing? I'm like, oh, they're glorious, man. They're so glorious. They're the Mystery Science Theater of baseball calls. And I say that with love.
You know, because when I asked him, like, it was one time, and, like, Blair had to email me the pregame interview and stuff. And I was like, Doug, you wanna just go straight to those? You want me to come to you? He goes, hey, man, look, I'm just trying not to crash this boat, okay? We're going to do whatever the hell we want. Like, okay.
But the thing is, like, they've kind of carved out a brand now. They can't keep playing that we suck card because they don't suck.
They're my favorite to work with.
Like, you can't keep running the poor mouth. It would be like, you know how when Kim Mulkey started SEC play, she's like, we're lucky if we'll win one of our first 5. Right. Or you can't keep poor mouthing when you prove that you're good.
Like Saban always complains and try to be the underdog. Like, Brad, stop.
Yeah, stop. You no one's buying what you're selling. Just stop it.
Alabama's basketball team? Texas A&M beat them by 16 points.
They pantsed them.
So
Picked them up by their ankles, held them over a turlet.
They have 4 quad 1 wins, but 3 quad 4 losses. I'm like, I don't understand where you put them in season. They beat
They're
really
a 9.
good teams.
Yeah.
But they used to just
They're a 9.
They lost to Missouri at home. They lost to Texas A&M at home. They took Georgia. Georgia took them into overtime at home. I'm like,
Mississippi State almost took out Auburn last night. Last night was weird.
They pulled away. I think it wound up being 81-66.
TJ whatever had 12 of Auburn's 20 points today. It was tied. You go to overtime. Overtime is 20-7. Is it TJ Johnson? Is that his name? He had 12 of the 27 points.
Yeah. Doing the hot tails tomorrow.
Oh. Be producing Moscona's show tomorrow afternoon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Cade was like, I gotta start off with your show and end it with. I'm like, dude, let me do Moscona's show. It's been a minute.
I can do tomorrow morning if you want to do it here.
Yeah. It's like, dude, it's been a minute. I hadn't been fired in a couple weeks.
Thurns is your first one. Okay.
6:06 to Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane. Off and running. Welcome aboard for a busy Thursday show. Brian here with you. Producing this morning, Taylor Sharp. Taylor Sharp. Taylor Sharp. What's happening, bud?
What's up? I get my own theme song, too. This is exciting.
You know what? I thought I was all proud of doing the whole Baby Shark and the Taylor Shark, and then stupid Ted Lasso ruined it.
What do you do?
Jamie Tart gets the same theme song.
Yeah.
Stolen from this show.
Has to be.
I mean, that's the only...
No, I still haven't seen Ted Lasso.
What is wrong with you?
Isn't it HBO Max?
Apple
TV.
Apple TV.
See, I got to get Apple TV.
Yeah. It's good. It's worthwhile.
That's what I hear.
So, Taylor's going to be in. Jake's out for a couple days. We're going to have a rotating cavalcade of awesome in order to keep the ship from running aground.
Afloat?
Afloat.
That's the word you're looking for.
That's what happens when you work an 8 p.m. tip-off the night before. We got a big show for you this morning. Patrick Grimion, host of the Patty G Show, will be by at 6:35. We're talking business specifically. We're talking entrepreneurship and the young folks, the Utes, if you will. In the 7 o'clock hour, 7:15, Dr. Daniel Tirone with LSU. He's a political science professor associate professor over at LSU. Let's talk Russia and Ukraine. First big Ukrainian city to fall to Russia happened yesterday. Let's broaden this out and talk about what effects we can see from worldwide pressure, from global pressure on Russia. Will it even matter? Will sanctions matter? Do they even care? Are they sending enough money to wait us all out? We'll dive into all this. Dr. Daniel Tirone at 7:15. Crimestoppers comes your way at 7:35. I believe David St. Romain is going to be in studio for that. Oh, he is. David St. Romain going to be talking about the history of the Beats Lab and everything else. Oh, and SOS and everything else he's got going on. So that's coming up at 7:35. In our 8 o'clock hour, I'm super hyped about this one. The other day, I got the chance to talk to a former CIA operative, former CIA officer, who has now written a book called Black Ops. Guy's name's Rick Prado. And I was hyped about it to begin with, but now come to find out he's going to be on the station twice today. Once at 8:15 with us, and then he'll be on Brian Kilmeade's show as well. I asked Rick all about, from a CIA officer's perspective, looking at what has gotten us to where we are now with Russia and Ukraine, and getting a little bit of inside information about Vladimir Putin, as Rick has dealt with communism, he has dealt with terrorism. Full disclosure, most of his career was dealing with terrorism, but there's no way you don't run a 30-plus year career in the CIA and not get the inside on Russia. I mean, when have we gone a 30-year span without having to do battle once or twice? That's at 8:15. We will close things out with Jason Hurdis. I'm looking forward to this one, too. Jason Hurdis is with, let me get his exact title here, a global application specialist for Caterpillar Incorporated. I can see you're confused. Why are we talking to a global application specialist from Caterpillar? Well, if you were struggling for something fun to watch, how about watching heavy equipment operators compete? Oh, yes!
I'm already in.
There's a Caterpillar competition.
Yeah, I don't need any more info. I'm already in.
And it's coming to Prairieville. There's, like, we're going to turn this into a whole, like, BattleBots meets Guy Fieri meets something. I don't know what.
They have, like, backhoe digging competitions,
yes.
dump truck races.
Races, precision competitions, and the like. Caterpillar in Prairieville is going to be going next level, and we're going to figure out how to turn it into a TV show. Plus, we'll have the top sources.
It's like a spin-off of Monster Truck shows.
Kind of, somewhere between, like, yes, between a Monster Truck show and BattleBots.
Yeah.
If we could BattleBots this up a little bit, you know, maybe have them attack each other. Maybe backhoe jousting. I don't know. Steamroller jousting would be really slow, but tense. Anyway, plus we'll have top stories and trending. We'll have the outside in. Taylor will have this day in history and a whole lot more as the show wears on. I'm looking up at the clock. If we're going to have time to recap both the gloriousness that was LSU baseball and the whatever that was LSU basketball last night, we got to go ahead and break it here. Before we take that break, hey, if you were heading out to the box last night, did you swing by Mathern's to grab your little tailgating gear? I mean, I know you don't tailgate a whole lot for the midweek games. You got to hustle on over to get from work out to the box. That's cool. Weekends, they're going to be out of town this weekend. But LSU basketball will be in the Maravich Assembly Center to take on Alabama. And Mathern's has got you covered. And even if we're not talking tailgating, they are, oh, by the way, a full-service grocery store every other day of the week, too. I went in there last night. I was producing LSU basketball last night. Stopped by, grabbed myself a sushi roll, which is fantastic. It was nice, though. The whole king cake display is now gone because Mardi Gras is over, and it's nothing but gold brick eggs and heavenly hash as far as the eye can see. The Easter candy has taken over.
They got any Cadbury? They got any Cadbury?
I had to avert my eyes.
I love Cadbury
eggs.
eggs.
Because, hit it hard for Mardi Gras and got to keep the weight down with Ghost Lemon and whatnot, so I had to avert my eyes a little bit. But I'm sure they had the Cadbury eggs as well. Anyway, there's two locations of Mathern's. Downtown on 3rd Street, Nicholson Gateway Shopping Center, right across the street from Tiger Stadium. Both of them got you set up as far as your groceries are concerned. Download the Mathern's app, do your shopping online, pull into the parking lot, they bring it out to you. Super duper simple. It's Mathern's on downtown on 3rd Street or right across from the Nicholson Gateway Shopping Center.
Ugh. Used to hate Cadbury eggs when I was young.
Because of the goop in the
I had
middle?
them in like elementary, and I was like, this sucks. I had them like not long, like 3 years ago maybe, and I love them. I eat them every Easter. I mean, that's like my go-to candy now.
The goop in the middle is really like it's hit or miss with me. Sometimes it's like so sweet, it's like too sweet.
It's like, you've heard the Marianne chocolate covered cherries?
Yeah,
like the white goop with the cherry. That's what it reminds me.
Yeah. Do we know where Jake's at? Did he go to like some kind of music festival? I'm start calling him Party Jake. I mean, he goes to the Washington Mardi Gras because his girlfriend's the queen.
Dude, that's it.
Alrighty. This week just won't end. Jesus.
It's Thursday.
I know, but like, I'm trying to. I know I've got something going on this week, and I can't for the life of me figure out what it is.
I had Lsu Basketball Saturday morning. I don't know. It's like morning. I gotta be there at like 10. Like, it's not that bad.
How many women's games have you done?
I mean, women's games?
Yeah.
I haven't done a ton of women's games. I usually do men's basketball.
Have you caught crap for having the men's parking tag at a women's game?
Yep.
What the hell?
I know.
I'm like, can we just have press parking? Like, we work for the network. Like,
Okay, no. It's more than that. I'm like,
These people see us every time. We
That's
walk in the
what I'm
buil-
saying.
I'm like, tell you what, you can watch me walk in the building. I'm not going to the game. Like, you can watch me. We can hold hands and go together.
and that's why I've tried. Like, I always look and I'm like, if there's a men's and women's game and they're both home, I try to take the men's game because I'm like, I'm not gonna have a freaking parking problem.
right.
I'll take the men's game every time. But you really
Where's
like
the box
weekend
score?
away games. Weekend away games.
Oh, those
You
are the
can basically
best.
park inside.
Yeah. You pull up right to the front door.
Yeah. The administration building right beside the football stadium. It's on the ground. It's like on the 15th. Yeah.
Yeah, like what he's doing right here, we're doing over there.
We do scoreboard updates for basketball. Baseball's way easier, dude. You could literally take a nap during baseball broadcast. All your breaks are at the end of it. And there's not as many highlights. Like, baseball, it just takes longer. Yeah. But, like, as far as the thing, baseball's so easy. Here we go, dude.
Thank you. 617 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Sports time here on Mornings with Brian Haldane, and we're talking LSU basketball first, then baseball. So I don't want to downplay. I sounded like I was kind of poo-pooing on them in the first segment. I'm not. The hottest team in basketball right now is Arkansas. The Arkansas Rays, they're so hot.
It's not
right now.
Alabama?
No. No.
You're right.
Not after last night, for sure. Arkansas hasn't lost a home game since I don't know when. Like, since the first 3 or 4 games of the SEC play.
Their very first conference game of the year was Vanderbilt and they
yeah.
lost. That's it.
Since then, they've just been on fire. And last night, LSU kind of tempered that fire for a little while. But in the long run, it just played out to where Arkansas was a little bit too much to handle. The, 100,000 people that fit in the Bud Walton Arena, which I think seats 17. It's a very intimidating arena to play in, to be sure. Tara Easton led the way for the Tigers with 24 points, and he did so in just 18 minutes before fouling out. He didn't foul out 18 minutes into the game. He fouled out with about 4 minutes ago, right under the 4-minute media timeout. So he had 24. Xavier Pinson had 12. Darius Days had 19. The Tigers were in Mwani Wilkinson also fouled out of the game as well. The Tigers were in foul trouble regularly, and they are regularly. And when you combine foul trouble with no depth, you run into problems. Nonetheless, 77-76 your final score. And, I mean, it came down to, LSU had a lead, and Mwani Wilkinson committed a foul with under 20 seconds ago. I want to say it was like 17 seconds ago. Alabama knocks down their last 2 free throws, and that was all she wrote. So 77-76, LSU drops one. They fall to 8-9 in conference play. They will come home to take on the Alabama Crimson Tide, who are reeling after last night. Alabama welcomed in Texas A&M, and Texas A&M dropped 87 on them. 87-71, your final score last night. The Aggies go into number 25 Alabama and post up the win. So number 25 Alabama is going to be in the Maravich Assembly Center Saturday morning. No LSU women's basketball to talk about this morning because they're not playing tonight. They're not playing until tomorrow. They will be playing in the SEC women's tournament as they drew the double bye. So they'll be right here on Talk 107.3 tomorrow evening at 6. As for LSU baseball, 11 runs on 9 hits last night for the Tigers. They put up 3 in the first, 3 in the second, 1 more in the fifth, and then 4 more in the seventh. They take care of former Tiger Blake Dean and the UNO Privateers. LSU Baseball will head to Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas this weekend to take on 3 different Big 12 teams, which you will also hear on the network. All right, time for the Fox Business Report.
Oh, thank God I got it right. I'm going to put a label on that after the show.
Yeah.
It just says selected too.
This would not pull up my damn box score. It just gives me the line score. So that did me nothing.
For who?
LSU Baseball.
I know Cruz, Dodie Homer. We got a lot of homers. I know Cruz Homer. I think Barry Homer.
I forgot to ask Alondra to send me highlights, and I wasn't going to play any basketball highlights because we lost. So,
You played Milwaukee Wilkinson's game-sealing foul.
right?
At this point, I don't care if Tari Eason stands there on defense. Everybody on this team is a good defender, and he just cannot stop fouling out. Just stand there. We need your offense. Just stand there.
They're cheap fouls, though.
Just stand there and have your feet planted, and hopefully you draw a foul. If they get around you, they get around you. We need his offense. He's the only player on the team that you can rely on offensively. Just stand there.
Then I can't, for the life of me, understand how all pregame, all you hear is Williams draws charge. Is it Williams that draws the charge? He's got like 400 charges on the year. He draws charges. He draws charges. And then once the game starts, it's like, why do they keep calling charges every time this guy goes down? This has been going on all season long. He's got the sideshow Bob here. I can't remember.
That's how they won the first game.
Yeah.
LSU was up 8 with 6 minutes left, and they were LSU's driving the lane to get to the basket, and they're just him and that little dude. I don't know if he played last night. Likes, he's like 5'7". Both of them.
Yeah. Oh.
Roman Rubchenko. What a phenomenal last name.
Well, it's 2 O's pronounced Rubchenko.
Oh, it's pronounced Rubchenko.
Yeah.
So Rubchenko, and I was like,
Yeah.
we like that. Tari Eason does have a problem. Last week on the show, Hunt was looking at it, and it was like he added up his total minutes combined after the last 2 games he fouled out before this one. He had 10,033 minutes.
Yeah.
That's one game. 40 minutes is a whole game. He had 10,000 one game.
Yeah. He's fouled out 3 of the last 4? Or 4 of the last 5?
At the beginning of the year. Like, what are you doing different? If they're calling you differently, adjust your defense. Basketball, Patrick. It's not rocket science, man. I like basketball. What's the easiest of the big 3?
Started learning about basketball.
Basketball's fun. I am a huge basketball fan, and no one knows that.
Went to a couple games this year so far.
What's a 5 games? I thought about going Saturday, but I was like, you know what? I'll just watch the game. I'll get paid to sit in the studio and watch it on TV.
Only two games. The first game, I had no idea what was going on. The second game, still had no idea what was going on, but I knew something.
I'm such a sports nerd. I went by myself on a Friday night. But there was a reason behind this. I had to do the prep scoreboard show here for midnight, and I got done, and the game started at like 7. I didn't have to be here till like 9:30.
Why not?
Because I think I had to do.
Wait, so what game? Where'd you go?
I had to do my SCOTA show one Friday.
Okay.
Because Paul was out, and we got done at like 6. I posted his stuff 6:30, 7 o'clock. LSU plays, and I had to come back for the scoreboard show, and I was like, I went to the game and came back and did the prep scoreboard show.
Why not?
Yeah.
Playing basketball is also a sport that you can go to and won't break your bank.
Dude, it's quick. The games are.
They're fun.
Out of all the games, I think like my girlfriend do stuff. She likes basketball and volleyball. It's the most comfortable, and then you never have to worry about weather. Basketball's so fun to go to. They always do like some crazy shit at halftime too.
Oh, yeah.
I like.
Last month they did like musical chair free throw shots.
Yeah. And Whataburger does like free Whataburger for a year, and no one ever makes it.
Someone made it this year.
I know. It was a game I didn't go to. I saw the end of it.
Most games I've gone to, the person has won the Wahlburger counts.
Oh, really? They did it twice?
Like the little find the Waterburger.
Oh, no, this is-
Oh, no. This is the half-court shot.
Oh, okay, no, they didn't do that.
624, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. We're going to be talking a lot about Russia and Ukraine today. I got a couple of different interviews lined up on this one. The first is Dr. Daniel Tirone from LSU. We're going to talk about this from the perspective of, he's an associate political science professor. So I want to ask him what led up to this. Why now? Why now is my biggest question. Like, Crimea happened over a decade ago. What is the ticking time bomb that just went off that led to this? I also want to talk about, will sanctions work? Are we spinning our wheels here? What level of global involvement is going to have to happen in order to make this stop? Or will it just play out on its own? That's at 7:15. 8:15, Rick Prado. He is a former CIA officer. He is the author of the book Black Ops, The Life of a CIA Shadow Warrior. Had a fantastic conversation with him about the book, for sure, but about, from a CIA officer's perspective, or former CIA officer's perspective, how we got where we are and what we can know and or trust coming out of Moscow, coming out of Vladimir Putin and the Russian administration. While we're talking about Russia and Ukraine, this was also a topic of conversation on Jim Inkster's show yesterday. He had a former LSU basketball player on. And this was great because this brought back memories of the early 90s for me with the kind of the close of the Dale Brown era. Roman Rubchenko was on the show yesterday, sharing his feelings on the Russian invasion, which I'm almost certain you're going to hear this audio in our news segment coming up in a little bit as well, we're 2 weeks in on this one. Rubchenko and some family member and friends, they're safe in a rural community area several miles south of Kyiv. But he says the resolve of the Ukrainian people to resist invaders is strong.
Russia will not prevail here. They will not take Kyiv. The only way for them to take Kyiv is to just level the city like it was during the World War II with Stalingrad or something like that.
And that sort of resolve is going to play a factor into this one. They're not going to roll over. We've seen the video. We've seen, a grandmother staring down a Russian soldier, asking, can I put sunflower seeds in your pocket so something will grow out when you die? Like, that's crazy! I mean, these people, this is like some serious, what do they say? It's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. Rubchenko was at LSU from 92 to 96. I think he averaged just over 11 points his senior year.
Solid numbers.
No, it was a slow build at a time where Dale Brown's era was on its way out and John Brady was on his way in.
I'm gonna guess that this guy was a center.
He was a forward, if I'm not mistaken.
Close enough.
Yeah, 6'8".
Yeah,
so that would make him a forward. Pounding on the boards a little bit, He now runs a couple businesses in Ukraine. He was on Talk Louisiana yesterday. He says his country will never let Kyiv be taken by Russian ground troops. The might of the Russian infantry is overrated, according to Rubchenko.
Not because they're bad soldiers, but it seems like they were poorly trained and they're lied to every step of the way, and they do not have a reason to fight for.
That's something that's playing itself out in real time. And this is where Cold War 2.0 is going to be different from the first Cold War, is when a narrative is pushed throughout one country, once you get outside of that country, you're exposed to so much more. I've been seeing a lot of it on TikTok, believe it or not. Russian people who are exploring more options to get more news, and they're like, whoa. What do you mean we're the bad guys? When did this happen? That's not what I've been told. Back to Rubchenko real quick. He says Vladimir Putin has underestimated the pride and the resolve of the Ukrainian people, many of whom have volunteered to take up arms against invaders.
25,000 Kalashnikovs have been given out to the militias. So if Russian soldiers actually do make it into the city, I believe they're not going to like it very much.
I mean, they're like handing out guns at City Hall in Kyiv, right? You don't want to be completely emotionally removed from the loss of human life. But at the same time, though, the level of
I want to say like not neighborly, but neighborly pride would pop up, saying, "Go get him, get after it. That's your home. Protect your home." By the way, later on in the interview, Jim Inkster asked Rybchenko what he would do if he met Vladimir Putin face to face, and Roman Rybchenko basically said, "I'd just choke him. I'd grab him by the neck and I would choke him." That's about right.
Subtle.
That's about right. It's not messing around. Not unlike the rest of the Ukrainian people, right? Anyway, we'll dive back in on that a little bit later on in the show when we talk with Dr. Daniel Tirone from LSU. I saw that WBRZ also had a story of another LSU athlete, former LSU student athlete, who's back in Ukraine now as well. So just all kinds of global LSU ties. It's interesting to see the web as it pops up. All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to check news. Obviously, our CBS News will have the latest on Russia and Ukraine. We'll go local news. We'll go traffic. We'll go weather. Then it's time for Patrick Grimion, host of the Patty G Show. Let's talk entrepreneurship amongst the youths. That's coming up next, right here on Talk 107.3 FM. It's Mornings with Brian Haldane on Talk 107.3 FM, the new flavor of talk in Baton Rouge. A what?
Are you saying you?
A ute?
The two young.
The two
That is a
youths.
top 5 favorite movie.
I have seen that one finally,
Yeah,
by the way.
it's
Good. Finally. Shit.
Well, after I think it was probably a couple months ago or several months ago, you mentioned it. I went home and watched it.
I made
Yeah.
I made my cousin Vinny reference about Ukraine the other day. He's like, yeah, Ukraine was just blindsided about this. I was like, yeah, they were like, you were serious?
We're just both making Joe Pesci references in the hallway now. I made a casino reference yesterday. You fucking whined. You whined.
Love Joe Pesci. Did you see The Irishman?
Yes. It's long. It's about 18 hours long.
Is it long? It
No.
should have and could have been half the length.
And not lost a thing. Totally. Totally. No, I agree.
The first hour is nothing happened.
They have to set the stage.
I couldn't even tell you what happened the first hour 20 of that movie.
No, I haven't watched.
They
I wanna
smoked
watch
in a car.
Yeah.
They smoked in a car.
One guy got killed, but he wasn't even important to the movie because he died in the first hour of a 3-hour movie. So, that's basically all that. I don't even remember the guy's name in the movie.
And also in the first hour, you scratch your head a lot going, is that Ray Romano? Holy crap, that's Ray Romano. That's Ray Romano.
Yeah,
Deborah.
That's literally what happened.
There was. Yeah.
One of those former heavyweight champs from Ukraine, Klitschko is his last name.
Yeah.
He signed up for the Ukrainian military.
Damn right he did.
He's 6'7", 250, so I'd probably stay away from that guy.
I mean, he's like, you shoot at him, he just punches the bullets down.
Yeah, basically.
Hey, good morning, Christy. Welcome in, boo.
Now that's a screen grab.
Nice.
That should be the cover. I guess that is his Deborah comment.
Excuse me.
Yeah, we know Jeff to eliminate.
1-point loss?
Yeah. It was brutal.
Oh shoot! I need to upload that audio for you.
Yeah, because tomorrow's going to be
Yeah, I'll get it taken care of this afternoon.
tomorrow's going to be an absolute poop show.
Yeah, I'll get it. It'll be in there tomorrow morning. Keep on forgetting it comes in MP4, and I use MP4 for my stuff, and so I don't need MP3. Just always escapes my mind.
I appreciate it when she actually says traffic cameras, because otherwise she'll say, let's go look at the cams, and it sounds so dirty.
Kalista Matrizin? That's a name.
What?
Kalista Matrizin.
Okay.
That's a name. Dude, they got to get traffic outflow better for noon mass on Ash Wednesday at Mercy.
You just need to go to 8 a.m.
I saw you at noon.
Yeah, I was there.
It was. Well, Charlotte was.
I
like,
can't go to 8 a.m. I'm on the air at 8 a.m. And I
Yeah.
can't go to 6:30 a.m. because I'm on the air then too.
Charlotte wanted to go to noon because it was easier with Quentin, but
Sure. Sure.
it was.
It's
I said that's like the busiest. That is the busiest mass of the year. They do. They have 6 p.m. But we didn't want to fight an afternoon baby. That's a little cranky.
Plus, at that point, it's like.
I can't post on my story that I got ashes.
So I was so proud.
No one's gonna see it.
So proud of like the homily,
Dude.
because
that was awesome.
he called people like he's like,
That
how
was-
many of y'all here just so you can go back to work with that in your head? Like
He subtly was calling everybody out. I was waiting for him to close and be like, just a reminder, we do this every Sunday.
right? I mean, there's going to be a noon mass today too,
Yeah. You go to noon mass today.
and it's not a holy day of obligation.
No.
That's the crazy part to me.
But that's your outward sign of I am a Catholic.
No,
I'm not Catholic, but everybody does that.
right?
I thought it was.
It's
No.
so you can a lot of people will go so they can have the ashes and remind people, oh, I'm Catholic.
I
But-
thought it was. Literally everyone does that. Half the building did it yesterday.
Yeah, it's
Well, and Catholics aren't the only one that do ashes either, so.
Yeah, but again, like.
well, yeah, but like other denominations have like drive-through ashes,
Yeah.
which, whatever.
Drive-through ashes.
Yeah, just here, go. It's on your forehead. Show everybody.
Yeah.
But it's no, it is it. The Ash Wednesday Mass is it's a reminder that we're all resetting. It's Mardi Gras is over with. We're resetting. It's time for Lent. It's time to sacrifice. It's time to focus on these next 40+ days until Easter. So
Yeah. Wipe the
It's-
hangover out of your eyes and show up to
pretty
church.
much. But yeah, Father Cleo was like, "How many of y'all are here just so you can go back to work with that on your head?"
No, it was good.
I was done with work by that
It
point.
doesn't matter about work. I'm worried about Instagram.
That's right. I need it for the gram.
He ain't wrong.
No, and
I was-
that needs to be the homily like every year.
Yeah. Well,
but
Matthew
it-
Matthew 6:5 needs to be the gospel every week.
Yeah. Like, come on.
Yes, sir, it is. It is time for the G's. Patty G, to be exact. Patrick Grimion, host of the Patty G Show, joins us every Thursday to talk a little business, and he joins us right now. What's happening, dude?
What up, Brian? I got a little spunk in my step this Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah, I just figured out that I made it to the final round of First Horizons Back to Business promotion.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
I didn't even know this was a thing.
Oh yeah, they're giving out $1 million across the whole country and in their regions that they bank, and I made it in the Baton Rouge region.
Okay.
So I'm very excited.
So you're still in this thing?
I'm still in it. I got a chance, man. It's on my Facebook. I posted the link to go vote. It takes like
not
a
on
minute and a
Facebook.
half.
I'm barely on Facebook
All right, it's
anymore.
on LinkedIn.
I've been on LinkedIn a lot more.
Well, dude, LinkedIn is where it's going.
I don't know.
From a business standpoint,
No, I know.
LinkedIn.
I know. It's definitely growing in the right direction. Only problem is with LinkedIn, 90% of the interaction is with quote-unquote digital marketers who have seen my website and can optimize, and I'm air quoting this whole thing if you're not watching us on YouTube.
With a
I have
million-
seen your market or your website, and we can help you market. Bro, we own GatorWorks. What are you doing? If you've seen my web, viewed your profile. No, you didn't. So there's still a lot of spam to be dealt with, but it's growing.
It's a great networking tool.
It's growing on.
And it's the job market's still there. I mean, that's how I got all my interns. I posted in a week, had like 6 applications. So it's growing, and it's a great place to be.
Well, what do you have to do next? Are you done with your application and all this other stuff? Are you anything further you could do to compete?
Yeah, get votes.
Okay.
That's
how do you get votes?
It's in the voting round. It's if you're on LinkedIn or you're on Facebook, or I'm gonna post on my Instagram story, I'll post a link to actually go and vote, because it's a very long URL. It's not a simple www.govote.com.
Right.
So
no, that's the Secretary of State's website.
Yeah, GAUX.
Yeah.
So I just need people to vote for me, man, and we'll see if we can make it to take home the bacon. There's I think maybe 10 or 12 companies that made it.
Dadgum. All right. Well, I mean, those are pretty good numbers.
Yeah. No, I don't know how many applied, but
all right.
So I'm excited.
All right. When do you know? When? How long is this open?
I think it's 2 weeks.
Okay.
But I can go through the email while we chat, and I'll let you know later on in our little segment.
Well, let's figure out how we can win this whole thing. No, we'll worry about it after the segment, because we've got a lot to talk about here.
Yes, we do.
Entrepreneurship is on the uptick, to be sure.
It is, and there's a couple different angles we can take this conversation from, a social aspect as well as an educational aspect. I think the article specifically talked about the education and promoting it from a younger age, getting people to think about this. And reading one of the articles from The Advocate, you hear these high school students say, "Oh, I've been an entrepreneur for years." It's like you're 15.
Right. Right. Well, so this is kind of the thing, though. We're a full generation into Lemonade Stand Day, or Lemonade Day, or whatever they call it.
Yeah,
Lemonade Day, right? Where you're encouraging kids to go out and set up a lemonade stand, turn a little coin on their own, get a little taste for what it's like.
Yeah, you get some business advice along the way.
Right. So that's pretty well established now. And you hey, I like doing this, or I'd rather not do this. You own a lemonade stand, you're not doing a lot of hiring and firing. You're not having a...
Well, I mean, unless you start a lemonade franchise in your neighborhood.
I mean, that's not happening at 12.
You could.
I'm saying you're getting the basics.
You got 6 buddies, put them on high corners in your neighborhood.
You're not...
Go to Oak Hills, you got several corners you could set up shop.
I mean, possibly. You better watch that, though. There might already be some people on corners working something that ain't lemonade. But there's a group out there now that the Young Entrepreneurs Academy.
Yes.
I was honored to moderate their CEO roundtable back in January, leading up to a pitch competition. They had a Shark Tank style pitch competition, and these kids are impressive.
Very impressive.
So, is this something that another generation missed, or is this something that we're just doing a better job of formation? Is this something that our overall economy has a better safety net to be able to do this?
I think it's more in the public eyes now, through social media, through other influencers talking about entrepreneurship from such a positive light. I think it's coming to fruition where people are seeing this as a realistic opportunity, instead of when you meet with someone and they say, "Oh, I own my own business," and then everyone's normal response used to be, "Oh, so you're unemployed."
Right.
And now it's, "Oh, what is your business? What is your company?" It's the view and the lens in which we look at entrepreneurship has shifted over the last decade or so. And it's now, my worry, though, within the younger generation is, are you doing this just to be a part of the hype, just to be a part of the, "Oh, I'm an entrepreneurship, that's cool"? Or are you really doing it because you love what you're doing?
So, entrepreneurship is not for me. Yeah. Side hustlepreneurship, yes.
Sidepreneur.
Yeah. I can do the side hustle all day long. Entrepreneurship, no. It's
and it's not for everybody.
Right.
It takes a serious appetite to jump off and be reliant solely on yourself.
But I'm a child of the 80s and 90s. Like I grew up with, I wanna be like Mike. Now it's, I want to be like Musk.
Yeah. all the play on songs today.
I mean, well, that was a commercial. It just it's before your time.
80s, come on.
Yeah. But now everybody wants to be like Elon Musk. But I mean, let's remember. I mean, growing up in the 90s, like just taking my example, Michael Jordan, the GOAT in basketball, the GOAT in marketing, the GOAT in advertising. You know, he had the Air Jordans, the Hanes, the works, right? Even he played for a franchise. He was not an entrepreneur at the time. But you look around now, and more kids would rather be like Elon Musk than LeBron.
What?
Can't blame him.
My worry, though, is seeing the 2022 Elon, not seeing the 1990s Elon.
Right.
Working and living out of the same building, sleeping in his office with his co-founder, creating PayPal.
Yeah.
Like that's not talked about so much. It's talked about Elon's billions and billions of dollars he has now, when we have to make sure on the educational side we're showing that the greatest overnight success is 10 years in the making. It's not just flip of a switch.
Which is why I ask about the nature of the market as a whole. Because a digital marketplace has much less startup cost than a brick and mortar.
100%.
Like if you are some level of retailer and you have an Etsy that's not going to cost you as much as having a storefront, you can grow into that. We saw it, interestingly enough, we saw it in the restaurant business with the food truck craze here in Baton Rouge. And food trucks are still around, but they're not near the height of popularity that they were a decade ago. But if you had an idea and you wanted to move into a brick and mortar space, if you wanted to move into a full-on restaurant, that was like the stepping stone for it. And then like the White Star Market ended up with 4 actual brick and mortar restaurants after that. The digital marketplace is that stepping stone if you need it.
Yeah, 100%. And prime example of the food truck is our guest for this week's show, Jacob Dugas, founder of Smalls.
Oh!
They started in the food truck with full intentions
Yeah.
of having a brick and mortar.
Yeah.
But they needed that capital. They wanted to start getting the brand awareness out there, and getting in a food truck, same thing as getting an online store and start selling on Etsy, Instagram, what have you, is a great place for an entrepreneur to start selling products.
And their model is one we should probably talk about when we come back, though.
Yeah.
Because we are due up for a break. We'll check your money now. We'll check traffic. We're actually running a little bit long for this break, so let's take the break now. Coming back on Talk 107.3 FM.
We'll probably be a little early to hit
Okay.
Voting until March 30th.
Okay.
Winners announced.
Oh, snap, you got a whole month.
Yeah, winners announced April 12th, approximately April 12th.
Can you find out who voted for you?
I don't know. The opening just started today. The voting just started today. Let me see.
Sometimes I dream
So no, you
that
cannot.
he is me.
You cannot see how many votes someone has.
Okay. I don't know.
I mean, let's get down to business,
By Tiesto?
I guess.
Yes. Although the rest of the song is not about business. Let's get down business. Yeah, I would love to franchise kids out and put them on different street corners, but I don't need them posting up next to Skinny Pete.
I'm talking like in neighborhoods, Oak Hills, Bocage, Seven Oaks, stuff that's more controlled, not, on the corner of Lobdell and Government.
Wow.
What?
Wow. Okay.
What?
Okay. Crap. I forgot to delete out promos from the show this morning.
Do what?
I forgot to delete promos from the show this morning. This could have gone.
Well, actually, something I don't know.
And there's going to be, if this is a 60-second, it's 2:30s combined.
Traffic's only 49 seconds.
Yeah.
So we'll be. We'll miss though.
What in the shit?
What?
The jacked up dancing going on in this video.
missed it.
Yeah, it was jacked up.
It had to be a Lizzo music video.
No. It's LSU women's basketball heading to Nashville. And they're like, oh, crap, we're well over.
Is it happening right now? Or was that last night?
I'll just do complete collision. We'll skip your money now. I'll do complete collision and then hit the bumper.
All right, 30 seconds. Yeah, that 1 minute one. That 1 minute one did it.
Yep.
I didn't see
That's
that one.
completely my fault. I wasn't thinking about I got home super late. Just stop
A
making
lot of these
excuses.
promos too, like you don't see them until right before they pop up.
Right.
Because I was like, oh, we'll be right on time.
Because it's autofill is what it
yeah, and
is.
then it popped up, and I was like,
Well, if this is a 60, it's going to run about 30 seconds short. So it doesn't matter. We'll get the time back to talk. Diving back in with Patrick Grimion in 60 seconds. Enough time for me to tell you about the folks over at Complete Collision Center. You know where to find them. They're on Plank Road in Zachary. They're on Perkins Road in Baton Rouge, just east of Bluebonnet. More importantly, you'll find them at 768-9898. 768-9898, because when you get to an accident, you need a phone number, not the physical address, right? How about CompleteCollision.com? CompleteCollision.com is where you're going to find them online. If you go to their website, you can learn a heck of a lot more about their Icar Gold Class certification. What is an Icar Gold Class certification? Well, the Gold Class recognition indicates that the technicians at Complete Collision Center are trained in the proper repair techniques and procedure that contribute to the complete and safe repair of your vehicle. They know how to find hidden damage. Big one here. They know the difference between repair and replace. They know how to get you back on the road safely. They're also certified by more than a dozen major car manufacturers. When the people who make the cars say, take it here to get it fixed, I tend to listen. CompleteCollision.com. Don't let who you choose to repair your vehicle be your second accident. Check out CompleteCollision.com. .651 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP, rolling right along with Patrick Grimion. That song is going to be in the intro when I finally make it.
I'm ready for it.
I mean, it's eventually. Both of the ones you just heard are going to be in the actual intro when I finally make it.
Look, I'm here for it,
It's
man.
I'm still getting garbage about not putting my desk together, so free time has been a
Your
premium.
desk still isn't together?
No.
Brian.
I've freed up some time.
No. He's underselling this. He has a white fold-out table with a laptop. He looks like one of those guys that's like flying a drone from like an apartment building, and the drone's like way over in the Middle East. Like this is like Jack Ryan level, like spy stuff.
So the desk is still like in the box, completely
No, it's
unopened?
spread out along the wall.
Yeah.
Wait.
He's got a third floor office with a window looking at a government with a white fold-out table and a laptop.
Brian, you're handy, right?
A little bit.
Well, come on, man. Put those hands to work.
I-
How long can it take to put the desk together?
At least 2 hours.
Really? How big is this desk?
And it's a
It has
quarter
like
desk.
multiple levels?
It does. It's got drawers.
The drawers come pre-assembled, don't they?
No, it's all in pieces.
Okay, what
yo.
kind of desk did you buy, first off?
I bought the one they said to get.
Who's they?
We all got new desks when we all moved around and everything, and I'm like the last man not standing. I'm the last man to put his stuff together. I'm in my office for 20 minutes a day. If I have extra
So why do you
time-
have office?
I asked that question too. This is my office right here. Right here. This studio right here. This is my office.
Just sublet your office.
I should do that. I could turn some coin because it's right across the street from the videos. Right across the hall.
You might want to
from the
put your
video
desk
studio.
together first.
I probably could.
It's not a good selling point with a white folding table.
See, I would get more for the office if the desks were put together,
Yeah.
and that's why I'm a terrible entrepreneur.
See? You got to think about
How do you
these
like
things.
that?
That's a good analogy.
Thank you.
Just don't let Flynn know about it.
No. Entrepreneurs. We've got
Speaking of entrepreneurs, so
Yes.
Byron Nichols had a comment that I think sums up why a lot of people are hesitant to take that entrepreneurial leap.
Mm-hmm.
He said, when I started my business, became pregnant with our first child, hadn't had a paycheck in 6 months at the time because employees got paid first. Stress can motivate. That's the mentality you got to have when you're starting a business. Not,
Okay.
I need to get my paycheck. I got to pay my people.
yes. Leaders eat last. Yes, is that Simon Sinek wrote that one? Anyway, it's where we're at right now, though. There are so many safety nets built in, especially post-pandemic.
So which safety nets?
If the business fails, you're not completely destitute. Like, there were a number of programs over the last 2 years where you got levels of compensation when your business lost money. Those are drying up now. So I guess the nature of my question is, are we going to see this as a shortwave or a longer trend because of the pandemic? Like, everything we're teaching the next generation right now, they need to know that that fear should be real. They need to know that that can come to fruition. It's one thing to build them up on the lemonade stand side, but it's another thing altogether to say, hey, you could very well, like, come out with nothing.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a long-term play. You're going to see this happening for a long time and see it continue to grow. What I fear will probably end up happening is, I mean, the statistics are, I think, 90% of businesses fail within the first 2 years. So that's a reality, right? Not everybody's going to create a successful company, create a successful brand right out the gate. So there are going to be a lot of learning lessons. However, Claire Willis in the article talks about that.
Yeah.
How even if they don't go on to build their own company, they at least have learned some business fundamentals that they can use in their daily job or even to start a new company altogether. So it's not necessarily viewing the success or failure of an entrepreneur as if the business grows to $1 billion. It's what kind of lessons have you learned and can take away from and apply to the next round or the next company you go to.
I think one of the big hurdles here in teaching an entire generation about entrepreneurship is the difference between experimentation and failure.
Yeah.
Because you can walk down a path and see if it's for you without calling yourself a failure. Just because that isn't what you're meant to do. You can have great success in a million other places, but there seems to be that level of cutoff there when it comes to entrepreneurship specifically.
And I think something to get your feet wet is that sidepreneur route, right? Figure out something you want to do that you can do either after hours or your work allows you to do it together. And figure out if that's something you want to do. Do a little sidepreneur or do a little side hustle.
Now,
you know?
Speaking of, but the problem with the side hustle, and I'm speaking from experience on this, a side hustle, once you've formed an actual company, is a full-time job.
It is. And so
Like-
then you got to take that leap or start working part-time at your job to slowly phase out.
Right. So, but if the intent is, oh, this will be supplemental income, you're committing a lot of hours to just supplemental income.
Nobody said it was easy.
No.
I mean, so for example, Jacob Dugas was on the show this week.
Yes.
He was working at an engineering firm as an engineering manager, got a job at Chick-fil-A in the evenings so he could learn from the best, learn how their operations work all before he even went and started and flipped his first burger for Smalls. So he did both. He worked 2 jobs, figuring out what he wanted to do, figured it out, and then went straight to the food truck route to get enough funding to build a brick and mortar. So that's the type of mentality, the type of hard work and drive you got to have to get your business off the ground. You can't just say, I'm going to start this company, and then mosily create it and have it just slowly go on, unless it's something you want to do. If you want to have it slowly grow, that's a way to go. But if you want to get in there all out, you got to take that leap or start doing it on the side and work part-time.
When we get into the break, and we're going to continue on YouTube, when we get into the break, I want to talk about the social media aspect of this and whether or not it's healthy for the overall experience. But talking about Smalls, how important is it to know that they have a very, very direct approach? They are basically, I'm not speaking out of turn, they're the Canes of sliders. They do one thing.
And they do it well.
Yes, they're the Canes of sliders, and they're crushing it. They've already opened up a second location.
Yeah.
They need to put one on Sherwood at Old Hammond, side note. But like, they're going to grow within that space. How important is it to be that niched, that focused?
If you do it well and you do it better than anybody else, that is your driving force. But they do it simply, and what that allows them to do is focus on their team, their core values, and their culture. That's what grows the brand. The product is perfected and is streamlined, so it's very simple. Everyone knows what to do every single time, which then allows the company as a whole to do everything else way better.
Patrick Grimion, host of the Patty G Show, joins us every Thursday. You can catch the Patty G Show anywhere you get your podcasts, up to and including the Saturdays on Demand lineup right here on Talk 107.3. Hot take, Smoss is better than cane sauce.
Ooh.
Weren't ready for that one, were you?
No, I don't know if I can agree to that statement.
Well, don't tell Jacob. It's like cane sauce plus a little dill to it. It's got a. You're putting it on beef. It's got to be a little bit switched up.
Hey.
All right, on YouTube, we're going to continue the conversation, talk about the social media aspect of that. That's coming your way next. On air, you're about to get the CBS World News Roundup. So, yeah, it is. No disrespect to cane sauce. It is the second best sauce out there.
So
But-
have you gotten their Smalls off-menu items?
Like the Biggie Smalls?
Sliders, I know.
Grilled cheese sliders. You can have grilled cheese sliders with bacon.
I didn't know that.
You can get a Coke float, Powerade float. Apparently it tastes like cotton candy.
I'll do a Coke float. Powerade float.
Powerade float sounds a little diabetes.
Yeah. Then you can do the Smalls fries Smalls way, and they put the Smalls and queso on it.
Yeah, that one I've done. Not since I started the diet.
Well, that's what the double used to
It's
be.
the-
The double
you
used
can't
to be
say
off.
the
The double used to be off the menu until so many people ordered it. They had to
Yeah,
put
the
it on the
Biggie
menu.
Smalls.
The Biggie Smalls, yeah.
Right.
And they were like, all right, we had to make a menu
I
item.
tell you what, though, you know who's doing a good job of off-menu items? McDonald's. Have you seen the recent commercials? They're like, ask
yeah,
for
the land,
they're,
air, and
they're
sea.
advertising for their off-menu items. They're like, ask for this when you come, and they're literally advertising for
But
like.
now it's-
you can customize it. You can do like chicken and filet of fish mixed and all that. And they were I saw a commercial.
If
for
you're
it.
putting it in your commercial, it's not hip anymore. It's got to be like a speakeasy. In-N-Out Burger had the double animal style. That was the ultimate of the off-menu item. If you know, you know. If you don't, then you're like,
I
what
like
did he
it
do?
because you can do the commercial for like 2 months and then pull them.
Right.
I like it. I think it's a good idea.
By the way, I had no idea that I had the exact same joke as Saturday Night Live's Weekend Update.
Okay.
McDonald's is calling it the land, air, and sea.
Yeah.
It's a burger patty, a chicken patty, and a filet of fish patty.
Where's
all
the
in
air?
That's right. Do they think chickens can fly?
Chickens cannot. It's a land and sea.
Right.
Chickens can fly.
Right. No.
Yeah, they
no.
can. I raise chickens, Brian.
Chickens don't fly. How about that?
They can. They
What do you-
hover. They have you never thrown
What
a
are they,
chicken in
R.
the air?
Kelly?
Have you ever thrown a chicken in the air?
They can fall with style, to quote Woody from Toy Story.
No, they flap their wings and glide down.
Right.
That's
it's
flying.
a soft
Yeah,
landing.
If I throw you up in the air, you're coming smacking right
If I
down. You
had
can't
wings,
fly.
I could. I believe I can fly. That's every chicken's mind right there. They're all R. Kelly.
That's how they get up on their roosting bars. If you don't have a ladder, they jump and they fly up onto the bar.
That's okay. That's
Guineas
not
can really
flying.
fly. Guinea chickens can really fly.
Whoa. Whoa. My apologies, y'all. I had no idea it was going to take it that level. Sheesh. Good Lord, man. I mean, I'm just messing around. No, they can't. It's you can get a little air,
Yeah.
but you know, so could Vince Carter.
Well,
No, Vince Carter gets away
so
with it.
so let me ask you this.
Yeah.
If you ramp a like if you go off a jump on like a dirt bike or something, you're flying.
Right,
and
you're not flying.
levitate. Are you flying or what are you doing?
You're jumping.
You're not flying.
It's
So,
an
but what is it?
extended
But
jump.
what's it called?
I'd say floating.
Floating?
Is it? But
What's
it's,
it? What's the
It's a
technical
very
term?
short-lived duration. I had a real question for
But
this
so
segment.
what's the definition of flying then?
Social media, it's got to be extended period of time. There's got to be
What's
some
the
level
time?
of hang time. I don't know. If you punt a football, is it flying?
Yeah, it's flying through the air.
No. There's
It's soaring.
we'll figure this out another time. Does social media puts us in a position where we only show the best of ourselves? If kids are learning from social media that they should become entrepreneurs, are they getting the worst version by getting the most cleansed version? Nobody's posting on social, or not that I
Some
know
people
of,
are.
about rise and grind, but they're not showing you the post from the night before, and they're damn sure not showing you the post where they're wearing the same pair of pants for 4 days because they don't have enough money for laundry detergent.
So some people are. Some people are. They're not now. Not me.
Who do you think they're following?
What do you mean? Oh
Who
yeah,
do you,
yeah.
Who do
yeah.
you think
they're following Elon
They're
Musk?
following
yeah.
Elon. They're following Russ Hanneman. I
Yeah,
need cars with
Gary-
doors that go like
Gary
this.
V,
I need
yeah.
doors that go like this. I need doors that go like this.
Yeah, they're following the people that also showboat, that'll rent nice supercars, rent planes.
Right.
You know.
Right,
Say, look
that's
how, look
what
how
they're-
great I am.
Right. So are they setting? Okay. Are they setting themselves up for failure by only seeing the glorified version of it?
I think they're setting themselves up for unrealistic expectations on an unrealistic timeline. They've got a girl in New Orleans that owns a glass recycling company that does a lot of showing you the entire process.
That's awesome.
She's like, it took us, months and months with doing all this. We had bins. We had to go drive around in trucks to get this. And she talks about the entire process from start to finish, and also shows our machine's broken. We spent 4 days trying to fix this thing. Like, that's her content, not look how great we are.
So,
but not everybody's following.
One of my favorite entrepreneurship stories from Louisiana is from New Orleans. Her name is Lauren Haydel, formerly Lauren Tom, owns Flirty Girl. Mm-hmm. And as she was coming up, she would take the pictures. She started a T-shirt business and show the pictures of all the T-shirts laid out with the cards on them, where they're going and how they're being shipped and all that. But it was night after night after night with the grind. Not many people do that. So if you buy in on the glorious aspect of it, it's the same, like, those that want to be rappers see the rapper's lifestyle with the G5s, and like, they don't see a guy who's aptly named Young Bleeda, or whatever his name, True Bleeda, whatever, the guy who got shot last Friday. Anyway.
Yeah.
National News gets a hold of that. He's the greatest rapper ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't see Slim out in the studio at 2 a.m. with Dr. Dre trying to figure stuff out.
Right.
They don't see that.
Right. 706, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Hour 2 of Mornings with Brian Haldane coming your way right now. Thanks again to Patrick Grimion. Thanks again for staying through the break as well as the conversation continued. Not where I wanted the conversation to continue, but the conversation nonetheless continued with a very interesting turn. All right. We got a busy hour coming your way this hour. In our next segment, we're talking with Dr. Daniel Tirone. He is an associate professor of political science over at LSU. We are going to talk about Russia and Ukraine. What led us to this point, and why now? Why now? Also, we're going to talk a little bit about sanctions. Will they work? How long will they be given an opportunity to try? And so much more. Crimestoppers segment today, we're checking in with the folks at Icar, and as I understand it, the folks at Icar are bringing us David St. Remain. Going to have no shortage of topics to talk about there. I believe David was in with Pamela on Tuesday. It was after I was out of range. I was already in New Orleans for Mardi Gras. But always good to get David in here. So that's coming your way later on this hour. Right now, though, we start off the hour with top stories and trending. Let's roll. We start off with a half a ton of trash getting out of our waterways. Actually, 2 litter stories, or a litter and a blight story to start off top stories and trending. A floating barrier may not seem like much, but it's working to keep Baton Rouge waterways clean. Quote, one of the best kept secrets in town. This is a beautiful paddle trail in Bayou Fountain, says Kelly Hurtado, co-founder of the Louisiana Stormwater Commission. Located off of Burbank, there's a litter boom that's trapping trash that comes through the storm drains so that it can be cleaned up. So far, this litter boom has taken a half a ton of trash out of the waterways. Why is this important? Well, if you follow the story about the litter in Baton Rouge, you know that as it makes its way, especially over towards the Burden Center, we have remarkable tonnage of trash, like Mardi Gras levels of trash on a daily basis in Baton Rouge's waterways, which leads to things like, I don't know, the flooding last May. Moving from litter to full-on blight, Councilman Darrell W. Hurst has a new plan to remove blight in North Baton Rouge. The landscape in the area is dotted with blighted properties, many of them burned and abandoned. It's an eyesore to many, and Hurst is tired of looking at it. Quote, part of my economic development plan is to clean the neighborhoods up, clean the business corridors up, and invite new rooftops and new businesses. Hurst says it's time to clean up the mess to bring back business. His focus is along Plank Road and the Glen Oaks area. What business wants to plant next to a burned-down house? And when you do those things, now you invite drugs, crimes, and other things into the neighborhood. Hurst said. According to a press release, his initiative is an economic, environmental, and social justice project. The initiative will include 4 phases. The first and second phase will focus on removing blighted residential and commercial properties and abandoned vehicles. Yes, actually removing the properties. The third and fourth will be clearing lots and cutting grass. Lawmakers on a committee to review how Louisiana State Police handled a 2019 arrest that ended with Ronald Green's death in police custody will meet for the first time this coming Tuesday, March 8th. WBRZ, our news partners at WBRZ, were the first to report on this previously. Speaker of the House Clay Scheck-Snyder said the bipartisan group of lawmakers will review all levels of the incident, which will include seeking testimony from various people involved. Quote, "It's concerning," Scheck-Snyder said in an interview with WBRZ in early February. "Here's the thing I've said from the get-go. We will search out the truth. The truth will lead us in the right direction, and that's where we will be. We'll come up with a decision from there." Now, don't expect everything to be laid out in the March 8th hearing. That's just to set up the committee's organization. Nobody's going to speak directly with lawmakers at that initial hearing, so this is going to be a process that will likely take us into the regular session, if not longer. "18 months after a 22-year-old woman was found shot to death in a Tigerland apartment complex, police brought a man arrested in North Louisiana to Baton Rouge to face charges in her killing, one of several crimes that raised questions about the future of a neighborhood popular among LSU students." I'm grabbing this one from The Advocate. 25-year-old Vernell Lockett was booked Wednesday for second-degree murder and illegal use of a weapon in the September 4th, 2020 killing of Poliqua Evans. This according to BRPD spokesman L. Jean McNeely. Lockett, by the way, has been in jail up in Madison Parish on unrelated charges. A body was found in a neighborhood that's been the center of a missing persons search. The discovery was made yesterday in an area of the Meadowview subdivision off of Old Scenic Highway. 2 people passing by a retention pond spotted the body in the water and notified authorities. The retention pond is in the front of the neighborhood. Police have not released specific details about the body that was found. The discovery was in the same neighborhood where a 19-year-old disappeared from his home in February. Donovan D.J. Jones Jr. vanished in the middle of the afternoon, taking nothing with him and leaving no sign of why he left. Police and family have been holding large search efforts for Jones since he went missing. At the scene where the body was found Wednesday, police said they were going to await confirmation from the coroner and possibly DNA before releasing the identity of the person that was found in the pond. Those are your top stories. Here's a look at what's trending this morning. The COVID numbers continue to drop. Yesterday was the first day that new COVID numbers were reported since Friday. What did we see as a result of that? How about a drop of roughly 30% in hospitalizations? I'm waiting on my computer to refresh now. We're under 500 COVID patients in Louisiana hospitals at this point. Give me one more second. 412 to be specific. There were 71 new deaths reported yesterday. Bear in mind, this is from Friday all the way through yesterday. Only 1,469 new cases reported. Now, odds are not a whole lot of people were testing while on parade routes. Although I did see a big testing center set up in Jackson Square. They looked bored. 412 COVID patients in the hospital. Remember, it was just a couple months ago we were above 2,000. Those are your top stories in trending. We are due up for a quick break. When we come back from this break, let's talk a little bit about Russia and Ukraine. That's coming up in just a little bit. Before we get you to that break, though, got to remind you about the folks over at Hope Industries and what they've got going on later this month. I know we're talking about entrepreneurship in our last segment. Well, this kind of carries over. Because once you have entered that world of entrepreneurship, you might be in that world of hiring. And if you're looking to hire, well, how do you know the right path to take to make sure that your employees are doing all right in their own lives? Business leaders, if you're feeling the pinch of the current workforce crisis, Fred Keller, founder and chair of Cascade Engineering, he changed the way he manages workforce, and he brought retention rates from 34% to 97%. Employees got off of welfare, company profits increased. Fred will be in Baton Rouge for the Rise LA Business and Industry Luncheon March 22nd. You can learn his strategy, work with other leaders to make a strategy that's right for your company. The journey begins at risela.biz. Risela.biz. Rise LA. We all rise together.
Is it industries?
Ministries.
Okay. Call 473. Doing good, man. What's up? Yeah, I'm gonna run down there. right there.
Who's that?
That's a Capola. He said they're here. I'll let
Okay.
him get back in the game. He said they were great. Are we calling him? Is he calling us? We're calling him. Let's see, he put his number down. We're calling him.
Yeah.
Talk 107.3. Yes, sir. We're going to have you in a couple minutes. Yes, sir. Called us.
All right. All right.
Hey, it's Haldane. Have you heard the new podcast yet? We're calling it Cool Story, bro. Why? Because there's a ton of cool stories to be told right now. Whether you're talking about events that transpire over the course of a lifetime, over the course of a career.
All right, I'm way back in comments. I'm way far behind. Tiffy says, Brian, don't you guys have interns that do things like putting desks together? It's a point of pride at this point, though. I've had multiple offers to help, and I stubbornly tell them no when I know for certain that I shouldn't. But I have time budgeted tomorrow. I'm on step 6 of a 34-step instruction booklet. I'm on step 6. So I'm hoping by tomorrow I should finish through 11. It's bold. It's bold strategy, Cotton.
Yeah, sounds detailed.
Clinton says, what are your thoughts on side gigs to start? So, okay, it depends on where you're going with it, Clinton. Like, I've been DJing for 20-plus years. No problem. Cash businesses help, right? But we've dove into a social media management consulting sort of thing, and it's been phenomenally rewarding, but at the same time, though, so much work, especially when it's got so much potential for upside. You want to invest the time in it, but it's a hell of a lot of time for not that great of money. Unless you could do it full time, then you could really ramp it up. But who the hell has the time to sell? Episode 2 of... Okay, we're going to need punctuation in this. Byron says episode 2 of Morning Woodworking with Haldane. There's a big difference between morning woodworking and morning wood working with Haldane. You see how that sounds completely different?
Yeah. Look, a comma can do wonders. That's what I've learned in life.
Know your punctuation before you start reading. Morning woodworking.
It's titled Morning Wood, subtitle
Working with Haldane. Jesus.
It's a series. All right, here we go.
718 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. It's not even a Tropical House Friday, and Taylor's firing on all cylinders this morning. It's time for us to get a little more serious and talk about what's going on the other side of the world, and that is what's going on with Russia and Ukraine. Daniel Tirone is an associate professor in the political science department over at LSU, and he joins us now. Dr. Tirone, good morning. How are you, sir?
Good morning, Brian. Doing well, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you and your audience this morning.
No, I appreciate having you on and getting the perspective that's coming along with this segment, because there's a lot to unpack here, and we know what we see on TV, but might not think about the overall repercussions. Basically, as it stands right now, everyone's pulling for Ukraine as an underdog, but there's a lot more that's going into this. So let's break it down. Actually, can we start by rewinding the clock a little bit and begin with this question? What led Russia to decide to invade? Like, why now for Russia?
Well, I think we have to differentiate between why now versus why this is happening at all.
Okay.
And for why this is happening at all, there seems to be a broader consensus across historians, political scientists, foreign policy experts, along three different lines. The first is Putin has tried to justify this domestically with his Russian audience by saying that he's defending the Russian-speaking diaspora against a Ukrainian government that's populated by drug addicts, neo-Nazis, is under the control of Western influence. And that is just completely fabricated. There's no truth to that. Secondly, he's tried to blame the West by saying that he was provoked into this through NATO expansion into Eastern Europe. And this would be consistent with sort of IR theory about security dilemmas and threats of alliances. But it also doesn't seem to be his motivating factor. The principal explanation seems to go back to a 2005 statement where Putin identified the dissolution of the Soviet Union as the greatest geopolitical crisis and disaster of the prior century. He has been trying to recreate a romanticized version of Russian glory by combining states with whom Russia has had sort of a deep historical ties and alliances, such as Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan, Georgia, and Ukraine is the one that got away. And not only did Ukraine get away, but it became democratic and looked continuously to the east into NATO and the European Union. And so he has for a long time aspired to bring Ukraine back into the Russian sphere of influence and exert domination over it. In fact, he's delegitimized any idea that Russia is in fact a sovereign state. So this seems to play very well into his long-term aspirations for upending the global order, increasing Russia's prominence in the international community. As to why now, there's much less consensus over that. Some have conjectured that he has been very isolated during the COVID pandemic. Perhaps he's gotten a little more paranoid. Perhaps he's getting bad information and bad guidance. There doesn't appear to be anybody in the regime who can really tell him no or speak honestly with him. And he could sense weakness in the Western alliance, in NATO, and in NATO countries. And so he may have just thought this was an opportune time to strike. We also want to be careful thinking about him sort of as a rational actor in the way we think of rationality, that he's pursuing particular goals. Some have speculated that maybe isolation or increasing age or insecurity have caused him to begin lashing out in a way which he would not have done previously. So as to why now, I think that's a question that we're going to have to retrospectively look at years from now. But in terms of why this is happening, there seems to be a broader sort of geopolitical explanation and historical explanation for why he's doing this.
Okay, walking down the path of romanticizing the former Soviet Union, reclaiming glory of the former Soviet Union, walking down that path, then I would have to assume that Ukraine would just be one step along the way. And if that's the case, will mounting sanctions against them globally, I mean, not just the U.S., but globally, mounting sanctions against them, would that be a hindrance? If your goal is to reclaim glory, do your finances matter?
They matter, but the question is, how do they matter?
Right.
It is clear that the sanctions are going to have a crippling effect, and they've already started to have a crippling effect on the Russian economy. The central bank is being decimated in terms of their ability to access foreign funds that they have built up over the years. Even the Russian aviation industry is going to have tremendous problems here. Boeing and Airbus have stopped supplying spare parts, and some have speculated that in about 2 to 3 weeks they're going to be unable to fly planes within and outside of Russia. The issue is that, Putin has really created what he likes to call Fortress Russia, so the economic elite may not be harmed. If the purpose of the sanctions is to spread so much economic dissatisfaction within the Russian economy that the people rebel, that can take months, that can take years, and in an autocratic state like Russia, how will Putin feel that pressure and then have to disengage from Ukraine?
What kind of window are we looking at here? How long do we give sanctions before NATO or anyone else decides it's time for the next step to stop them?
That's a good question. Some of this is going to be determined by Russia's actions within Ukraine. The United States has very clearly stated that we will not be engaged in actual combat. But if Russia pursues the campaign like they did in Chechnya a few years ago, where they just start razing cities and committing even more war crimes and crimes against humanity than they are right now in terms of attacking civilians and things like that, it may be increasingly difficult for NATO to just stand by and observe these things and say that increasing sanctions is sufficient. But at the same time, sanctions are our best non-military strategy to do this. There is still some room for escalation of sanctions in terms of more oppressive sanctions we can place on there. We haven't yet sanctioned their energy sector, and that could be the next step, although that comes at tremendous cost to us as well. So there's a reason why we haven't done that yet.
But this goes back to the protecting the elite as well. If you're Putin, you don't have to worry about what the rest of the country or what the rest of Russia has to deal with when it comes to the sanctions, because you've got your own little buffer within there. To me, this seems like it's leading down a path that will eventually get to where you have to pull the trigger on something else, literally and figuratively.
I mean, that's true. Russia has identified, isolated themselves. Putin has created a buffer for himself. Every autocrat is dependent upon some coalition of domestic supporters. Mm-hmm. The question is, how much can we hit the oligarchs who really matter? And we are doing targeted sanctions against individuals, such as some politically prominent oligarchs against Putin himself. Those are the ones I think that we are most hopeful might actually lead to direct pressure on Putin. In terms of the broader pressure, that's an open question. One of the things the Ukrainians are doing is they are allowing Russian prisoners of war to call home to their families to sort of relay information about the battlefield and the conditions, because Russia is such a tightly controlled media environment that a lot of this information is not getting out.
Right. And
in the past, historically, Russian mothers have been a politically effective organizing force to push back against the Russian government. And so I think some of the hope on the Ukrainian side is that if, this war does not appear to be very popular within Russia. If they can build up some of that dissatisfaction, lead to more protests across Russian cities, some of which we're seeing already, perhaps that combination of social pressure and economic pressure might be enough to get Putin to back off, but it's not clear.
Yeah, the Ukrainians allowing the Russians to call home has been, interestingly enough, on TikTok, it's been remarkably moving to watch it firsthand. I've got a bigger concern within this, and that is, and by the way, Dr. Daniel Tirone is an associate professor of political science over at LSU. He's our guest, kind of spelling out a little bit of what's going on with Russia and Ukraine. Dr. Tirone, I got to ask about the likelihood of other world leaders and their possibility of following Putin's lead if they want to invade another country that they believe is theirs to begin with, talking specifically about China.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if I were Taiwan, I'd be very nervous right now. I think one of the greatest sort of tragic lessons of this, and to be clear, this is entirely a tragedy. There are no winners in this situation. But this could set the conditions for nuclear expansion. Ukraine had nuclear weapons in the 1990s. The United States and Russians convinced them to give them up. The Russians invaded, and the U.S. has not responded militarily due to the presence of Russian nuclear weapons. And so if China feels emboldened by what they're seeing happening in Ukraine and thinking that the United States claims here to defend Taiwan against, Chinese incursions, that the United States similarly won't act due to these broader, concerns about nuclear escalation and nuclear conflict, then this could be seen by some in China as a green light to engage in an attack against Taiwan. We've also, sort of shockingly seen that Japan has started, or some within Japan, have started floated the idea that they might want to host American nuclear weapons in their own territory, which goes back against long-standing principles within Japan, going back, to the early 1960s. So if we see the spread of nuclear weapons as a deterrent against foreign invasion, that could be one of the unintended consequences of this conflict that could really change the geopolitical landscape moving forward.
Got about 2 minutes left with Dr. Daniel Tirone from LSU talking about Russia and Ukraine. I'm hard-pressed. I want to split between two different topics here. Can we start by handicapping the possibility of the nuclear aspect of this? I know it's being threatened, but as a child of the 80s, that's my entire life was being threatened by nuclear war, right? What's the legitimacy here?
So I still think the overall probability is very low. The problem is it's higher than it was 10 days ago. And some have speculated that Putin has frequently indicated he might be willing to use tactical nuclear weapons. And those are weapons you might use in combat rather than, ones you would launch on intercontinental ballistic missiles against the United States mainland, for example. The concern there is always that might lead to escalation. And so there's been a general sense that any use of nuclear weapons is prohibited simply because you're afraid of where it may lead. So if Putin is willing to do that, and again, if we can't rely on him being a rational actor, he might be more willing to do that than we might think. There is a non-negligible chance that that could happen, and we could find ourselves in a conflict that involves some use of nuclear weapons. Hopefully, we don't get there. And again, I don't want to fearmonger and say that this is likely, but even a low probability of that type of event is still very threatening.
Got exactly 60 seconds left for Dr. Daniel Tirone. What's America's role here? What's our place in this?
Our place is really to lead in uniting the Western countries and the world in these opposition to Russia in their actions. It was notable that yesterday there was a UN vote, and not necessarily that these are binding, but it was 141 in favor and 5 no's for censuring Russia over their invasion of Ukraine. And the no's were Russia, Belarus, Eritrea, North Korea, and Syria. So if the United States can be a global leader in the diplomatic efforts to constrain Russia, that is the best step we can take right now, and also leading these sanctions and just signaling very clearly that what Russia is doing is unacceptable. They must immediately cease and change their behavior towards Ukraine.
He is Dr. Daniel Tirone, an associate professor of political science over at LSU. Fantastic insight, great information this morning. I appreciate you hopping on board. Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. That's not the last time we're talking to him, because there's going to be so much more to unpack as this situation unfolds. So definitely hanging on to his number. All right, we got Crimestoppers coming your way next. David St. Remain is in studio. Right now, let's check news. Dr. Tirone, associate professor of political science.
What's going on, man? In the world, right?
So,
So,
hello.
you know, iCare works with Crimestoppers.
Yes.
And the beat lab that we're doing in our office.
I did not know that.
Is part of iCare. We're working
Yes.
with iCare
Yes.
on that program.
Yeah.
So that's how they got connected.
Okay. Well, so we'll do our best not to double back over whatever was covered on Tuesday.
Correct.
So,
And that was more about our open house, the dinner, and our veterans program stuff. We
Yeah.
did talk about the beat lab, of course, because it is a big part of what we're doing, but we weren't necessarily looking for enrollment on that. We were more or less just telling the public about it. So in this case, we can focus on the beat lab 100%, and then, if you have a second, and you want to say, hey, aren't y'all having an open house?
yeah.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up with that for sure. Okay. Good morning. How are you?
It'll be nice. What's up, community? I'm going live right now with my boy Brian Haldane on 1073.com or 107.3. Wait, 107.
107. No. On the web, 1073.com. Just follow Mornings with Brian Haldane on Twitter.
Talk 1073.com.
It is talk1073.com.
Oh, we're crazy. That's perfect.
1, 2, and let me get it while Brian's name up there. 1, 2, and I got it, and I got it.
Excellent.
That was smooth. The video, smooth transition.
Yeah, that was awful.
Sounded professional.
No, not even. That was Buzzy and Doug for the LSU baseball when Chris Blair's doing basketball.
Okay.
Buzzy Haydel and Doug Thompson are on the call.
DT.
And like their color, they do color for Chris, but when he's gone, Doug is the play-by-play guy.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Dude, it's phenomenal. It's a beautiful disaster.
It
It
is.
has got to be.
It actually is.
Tuesday morning
Well,
group.
they spent an inning and a half last year talking about how Doug Thompson can improve his golf game. They literally spent an inning and a half on it.
Go play with
And at the
DT.
end, Doug Thompson's like, "What highlights you gonna play?" I was like, "I don't have any. You didn't call the game. I don't have any highlights." Yeah. I was
It's
like,
so. We say all that with love. It's hella entertaining. It's really, really
dude,
good. And
it's my favorite.
honestly,
Probably better
when
than
baseball
the
happens, they break down the baseball for sure. But that's
When it's slow.
right.
It's slow.
Yeah, like when I did it was like a midweek game. It was like,
Yeah. I'm singing the national anthem at the last game.
Oh,
The Ole Miss,
Alright.
the last Ole Miss game.
Nice.
At least that was the last one on the list. They gave me. Talk. 107.3.
hey, do we have I couldn't find any pictures of Daniel Tirone. I Googled him.
he's on Twitter.
Yeah, I'll look at that.
I think he's got like a Bitmoji for his Twitter avatar.
I might just do like a shot of like the Ukraine Russian.
Do what? Oh, well, it shows up fine on YouTube.
Yeah,
so.
that's all that matters.
See the,
Yeah.
It's not.
It looks fine. Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
why it looks like that in person. It looks fine there. You would think it would be the other way around.
What is that camera? It's a nice camera.
That camera.
When you were talking about your desk earlier, I was
Yeah.
thinking you were talking about this desk.
No. Up in my office, I've
you
got.
there, never?
It's a plastic fold. If I'm in my office,
Oh, it's a plastic folding desk.
I have a plastic folding table that I'm using until I build my desk. So basically,
But
the
you're new
the
people,
table
you
that
have to
I'm
have a desk.
right. So yeah, the table that I'm using is normally where we would keep all the whiskey for tailgating. Like so, it's the whiskey table. Yeah.
This is like the normal Crimestoppers over there.
Yes.
I love Johnny. Johnny Dunham. That's my man.
Do what?
I love Johnny. Johnny's the ED. You know Johnny.
Johnny Dunham? Yeah, I've met him all of once.
He's a good dude. We're working on their branding. We're helping them change too.
So he and I did the new member orientation for the Rotary Club at the same time. Interestingly enough, my cousin knows him real well. They went to FBI Training Academy at Quantico together. Yeah, he's with Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office, so they like room together or something. So they're all buds. And yeah, my cousin's like, "Hey, tell Johnny I said hello." I'm like, "I never friggin' see Johnny." So
Yeah, that's what she's like, who? I'm like, he's the executive director.
Don handles things.
Yeah,
So.
Don Capone?
Coppola.
Coppola.
Yes.
He's got that Capone name. Yeah.
Capone. Well,
Okay. All right. I'll throw it in there. I'm sure we can get in there. There's a whole lot of great stuff going on.
oh yeah. Gospel choir.
Dude, that trips me out when I hear that. I texted him the other day. I was like, bruh, the Spencer Callahan super fast commercial.
So what happened is they have to add that tag at the end of it, or that disclaimer. So they have to speed up the tempo.
So, and this is my own party that caused all this crap, and I hate it. Basically, they were tired. The legislature was tired of all advertising on the interstates being attorneys. You can't stifle somebody's freedom to buy advertising.
Because it's like something 681-12 or something.
Yeah. So they ended up, they say the camel is a thoroughbred that went through committee. That's what we ended up getting. It was not the intent.
Really solve the problem.
No. Yes, it is time for Crimestoppers. And yes, we are ready to roll here. Welcoming back to the studio for the second time this week.
I know, man. I feel like I'm like,
What's
family.
up? David St. Remain in
When
the
are you
house.
going to hire me, Flynn? Come on.
Right? So you were in on Tuesday, which I missed out on the segment. Pamela Matassa was in for me as I was heading down towards New Orleans. Interestingly enough, was able to pick up the show all the way to Laplace,
Well,
and we got to Laplace at like 7:50.
Right
You
on.
were in at 8:15, so we missed out on your segment. We were already pulling into the West End, unloading the back of the car, getting ready to do a little Mardi Gras day.
I saw the video on Instagram. It looked good.
Yeah. Oh,
I had a good time.
Unbelievably tame. It was
With the kids, that's a good thing.
I know it is. I was impressed. I was impressed across the board.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Speaking of
it was a good
kids.
time. Oh, well. Speaking of kids, you are no stranger to this show and talking about the Beats Lab. So let's
right.
dive right in.
So the Crimestoppers connection here.
Yeah.
Kind of, I want to make that connection right off the bat since it's the Crimestoppers segment. The East Baton Rouge Parish Fine Arts Department, Sean Joffrion, normally, and that group brings in someone as part of your segment. And so they are partnered with us to bring a Beat Lab program to Struma High School and offer up to 10 unique individually, or identified children who either are interested in music already or want to do something, but to bring them an after-school program that is special and very unique. So what we're doing at Songs of Survivors is offering them an hour and a half a day, 3 days a week for a month, how to basically Beats 101 or Intro to Beats, kind of just like our summer school program that we offered last year and that we're going to offer again this year. So, but this is our semester's worth of after-school programming this year, and it's going to be directly with Estruma High School. And that's done through Icar and our partners over there, and Sean Jofrion at the Fine Arts Department.
What kind of what kind of level of technology, level of equipment, level of real life beat making do these kids get access to?
I mean, they have they're working on Ableton, which is actually what professionals use today in main stages, just like this gospel concert. I mean, they're going to have a gospel concert here in Baton Rouge, the Fine Arts Department, and I'll plug that later. But they use this stuff to control lighting, music. It's all done through MIDI programming, and we're teaching them the actual tools that they can use in the future to have a job. To not only that, but they're also learning problem solving skills. And it's a media creation technique that is not just used in music, but it's also used in film, it's used in radio, it's used in everything we do around media creation. And as people know, more and more media creation is everyday life. So,
because of social media, we're all members of the media.
Right. So they have no quarrels with picking up this technique, and a lot of them are already doing it. So we already know that a few of the kids, which one of the things that I wanted to talk about was how excited they got when we went and presented this to them. Yeah. They were like, man, I'm ready to call my mama right now. Let's do it. I'm ready to get in. Come on, dog. And I'm like, so yeah, this is exactly, we want to meet the kids where they are, and you could tell that they were super excited about it. It's a social emotional learning that's very just unique. It's independent of its own. Arts therapy, and I don't like that word because I'm not a clinician, and I want to respect our credentialed clinicians, and in saying that this is a therapeutic, holistic type method of dealing with trauma and life and anything, and just a way to express creativity and get it out there.
Okay, so there is not embracing, but confronting trauma.
Right.
But there's also mentorship here, too.
Oh,
and I would have
100%.
to imagine the mentorship, stepping away from this particular segment, last Friday we saw a shooting outside the Mall of Louisiana.
Right.
One of the people who was killed was an aspiring rapper.
Right.
There is a crossover here where you're following down a path in music where you can go one way or you can go the Beats way.
So exactly. Last summer, the kid, for example, said, Mr. Matt, I want to rap. So we pulled out a mic. The next day, he's like, I can't do nothing but rap about violence. And I'm like, well, you can't really rap about violence here, but here's the mic. Let's see what you come up with. And the first thing he says was, I thank God for another day. I'm like, well, you're not rapping about violence. You're rapping about thanking God.
Right.
So you're actually immediately showing someone that there is an alternative to because they only think there's one lane.
Right.
And we got to show them there's another lane, man. And that's something that I was talking to our friends down in the other studio about. It's like there's all these variables. And if we come together, it's not just, kumbaya around a campfire. We got to really meet people where they are.
And that's the hard part, is confronting the trauma while guiding on the mentorship path as well.
100%.
So Estruma High School, so are we talking high school kids across the board, or are we getting a little bit younger perhaps?
I mean, with the level of this technology, we really need to be 12 and to 18 area. We try to serve mainly high school kids. But again, if we have a young aspiring engineer producer at a young age and somebody's identified by either a clinician or a youth serving organization or someone in their school or something, you say, hey, I know this kid already is doing mixing or really wants to do this, is doing it on GarageBand or doing it on some form that's free. Because every phone comes with GarageBand.
GarageBand is stupid easy, too.
Yeah, and it's exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, it's just the broken down version, simplified version.
What's the overall goal for the program?
Well, the overall goal for me, and I think the mission going in, is to help the at-risk and vulnerable populations with the. I know I'm going to give you like this canned statement, but this is
That's a follow-up question already in mind. So go ahead.
So it's to help the at-risk population heal or learn. Like I said, learn how to cope and purge or be creative through the healing power of making music creation, of making music. I wanted to break it down a little bit more.
The follow-up that I had in mind, and I haven't even looked at the sheet, but the follow-up I had in mind, How important is it for you to remove yourself from the equation? How important is it for you to make this a self-propelling entity?
love this question.
They're going to have more students are going to learn from previous students. More students are going to learn from those who have had to. You haven't had to walk that path. I haven't had to walk that path.
Right.
They're going to learn from those who are in it with them. How important is it for you to make that transition to let the students become the teachers?
So this is a great question, and one of my visions is that exact thing. I would love to not just empower young people to take this on their own and roll with it, but we want to create a long-term plan, what I would call continuum of care, all the way through till we give them an almost giving them an economical, an opportunity,
Right?
An opportunity to become an instructor and then earn an income doing that and teaching. So there is that opportunity in the future, but also I think, I have a vision. We have 10 seats right now in our classroom, and I have a vision for 30 in the future, in the next few years, to be able to outfit 30. And also, I would love to see this go into the school systems. The hardest part is getting more instructors, and you're hitting exactly what I'm talking about. If we can teach these kids to possibly be instructors in the future,
Right.
tiering the program up from intro to 101 to 102 to 103, and then we can hand them. Part of what my mission is to hand them the materials and hand them the tools.
Right.
Say, here, take this home.
Yeah.
Go with it.
Well, the
here's
message
your
becomes
kit.
that much more clear, that much more from home.
Yeah.
At that point.
We'll get more gear. I ain't worried about that.
Oh,
We'll
no,
figure
it's
out
not-
where
yeah.
to get the money.
No,
I'd
it's
like
the
to
personnel.
give the kids their stuff.
Hey, what happens to the finished product?
So they keep it. That's the one thing. They do get to keep it. And that's, they get to do with it whatever they want from that standpoint. But we also, last year we created a virtual sort of finale on YouTube. We'll probably do that same thing, and or maybe do some type of live finale. I don't know. It's hard with young people and parents and schedules and stuff. So I think sticking to that virtual opportunity to put something out there for them so they can have a place to go to, a platform to see it on YouTube would probably be the best opportunity.
How has Icar been able to help so far?
Icar has been the glue that's made it all happen.
Yeah.
So Miss Aaron and Dr. Thornton and just the family over there of clinicians and serving just hearts, those people are incredible. I don't know if you know this, but Baton Rouge Icar is the mental health provider for East Baton Rouge Parish school systems. Yeah. And so all of our kids that are in public school, when they have a social emotional issue, they are seeing clinicians provided to them by Icar. So they're a blessing. I'm just so grateful for them. Icar made the connection with Mr. Joe Freon and Fine Arts Department, has helped us navigate into the school. And I could keep going, but I don't want to overdo your time.
All good. Oh no, we got about 2.5 minutes left. I know we got to cover 2 other things as well. But before we do, anybody any good? Are you
kidding me, bro? I'm
be real.
I'm telling you, there was this one kid, this young man came in last year, and I don't know where he came from. I don't think he was born in this country, and so he was an immigrant, and he was a young immigrant, was brought over, and man, he was like, bruh, and he was at Harmony 3 House, which is a home of juveniles that are incarcerated.
Okay.
So Harmony 3 is a home here in Baton Rouge, and so we had, I think, like 8 incarcerated young men in the room at the time. And you're reaching kids at the deepest level of pain. Yeah. One of the kids had gotten shot already. So he was already he had already taken a bullet in the leg at like 16, and so I'm telling you, man, it's deep. And the work we started was started with. We started it at Metanoia House, which is a trafficking home for teenage girls. I started that work doing songwriting with those girls as a purging technique, and then that's just continued to shift into veterans work, and then where we saw a need in the young population, especially here after all the shootings and the young people. We're seeing them, the next generation, come right into that type of activity. We want to try to give them a channel to not have to go that route.
Got 1 minute left with David St. Romain. We're talking about the Beats Lab and a number of things going on surrounding that. Tomorrow, Independence Park, what are we looking at?
So there is a gospel choir just incredible show to see. They're calling it Make a Joyful Noise. Please come out and see that starting at 6:30 at Breck Independence Park Theater. You're going to see Miss Nancy Armstrong and Terrell Griffin. That's being put on by the Fine Arts Department and over here in East Baton Rouge Parish.
6:30 tomorrow evening at Independence Park. And then in our last 30 seconds, you've got an open house on Monday.
I've got an open house on Thursday.
Next
week on the 10th. That's okay. And then we've got, so please come out to our offices. Check it out, sosmusic.org. There's information there for that. Also, on the 14th, we're going to have a VIP wine and dinner pairing at Beau Soleil. So if you're interested in that, check it out, sosmusic.org.
You had me at Beau Soleil. He is David St. Romain. We always appreciate your time, brother.
Love you, Bree.
Yes, sir. Love you, too. We got to take a break. Check your money now. Check traffic. Come back with the Outside In next. Did we cover it all?
You did it all.
Okay.
You did it all.
Always, brother. Peace.
Appreciate it.
Yep, have a good one, dude.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yep. We'll see you next month, Susan. Later. Bye.
As well as a mid-range iPad, Apple currently offers a low-cost iPhone called the iPhone SE, which will
Forget your 5-hour energy. That dude is just like.
He came in when I think it was Betsy that week we were out.
Peloton's founder and former CEO John Foley has sold about $50 million worth of shares in the
Underrated guest.
investment firm.
Never gonna be the headline, you know. I do headline-driven shows. He's never like, but every time I bring him on, he's a ball of energy. He's just a good dude.
Yeah. You sent me a text. Oh yeah, I'm
Mooyah.
You want to hit it coming back in, or you want to hit it after your money?
I need enough time for my screen to refresh. The billion times I've been to Mooyah, I have no idea if they have a Lenten menu. They're a burger joint. Just be what you are. Nope. Good. Good for them. I don't see a fish sandwich on the menu at all. No chicken. Chicken counts as meat. Yeah.
Okay, so that's how come fish doesn't?
There's an answer for that. There's a great book called Why Do Catholics Do That?
Well, because I actually, when I think about it too, I'm like, I don't feel like I'm eating meat or any fish. Just like person.
But it's meaty. I mean, especially if you're talking like a saltwater fish, like a tuna. Tuna is tuna steak.
Yeah.
That's meat to
But
me.
like catfish and stuff, like when I'm eating it, like I don't feel like I am. But I mean, technically you are.
And how did we come about to enjoy crustaceans when?
You want to do it now? Or?
Yeah. Got your lunch plans set for today? If not, I have a great suggestion, and get it in today since it is Lent. You got to get it on Thursday. But if you swing it by Mooyah, burgers, fries, and shakes, they've got the burger that is perfect for you. And I could say that with full confidence because they've got their Hall of Dang, right? They've got their burgers that they put out there every month, and sometimes they get retired, and sometimes they end up on the menu. Like, for example, I don't know, my favorite, the Double Diablo with the Cholula hot sauce and the pepper jack cheese and the jalapeno peppers, like a little spicy. That could be your jam. Or maybe you just like a classic double cheeseburger. Or maybe you like to do things your own way, building your own burger. Either way, you're going to get top-notch ingredients. You're going to get certified Angus beef. You're going to get freshly baked potato buns and the best service around at either location. Bluebonnet at Highland or Segan just north of Industrialplex. Both locations. Mooyah, burgers, fries, and shakes. Get your lunch today. Oh, please be up to date. Please be up to date. Please be up to date. That's fine. Because he's going to talk about this weekend as well.
I think he does. Most of the time he does it on like Tuesdays. He just does it on You know what it's titled? It's titled LSU Haldane, February 28th. So I was about to skip it. Like, that's what it's titled. And I was like,
Yeah. It needs to be generic, like, as generic can be.
yeah.
It's especially in this time of year, like when Chris's time is so pressed between baseball and basketball. Like that transition from football to basketball is tough. The transition from basketball to baseball is even tougher.
They overlap.
Yeah.
No, he was doing one last year, and I just happened to walk in the studio because it was like 30 minutes before, like, I guess it was the Fargus show. But he's in there doing it. He had to do a volleyball. This beach volleyball. And like, whoever sent him the list of the teams that did a job, because like they abbreviated all the schools' names. Like,
Oh, God.
People don't know. And he's reading. He's like, an HBU, and he stops. He goes, "Are they playing an HBCU?" He goes, "Who's HBU?" And I was like, the only reason I know is because they're in Southeastern's conference. I was like, "It's Houston Baptist." He's like, "It's quicker to just say Houston Baptist than HBU." I was like,
It actually is.
"Yeah, no, like it just was better." But it was Houston Baptist. But he's like, "HBU." He's like, "Is that supposed to be HBCU?" And I was like, "No, it's Houston Baptist." I was like, "It's Houston Baptist." And no one says HBU. It's like SMU. If you say Southern Methodist, half the people are gonna be like,
SMU, the Mustangs.
Yeah.
Dallas, Texas. Yeah, you say Southern Methodist, and people get lost. Yeah. Oh no, there it is again. I screwed up, dude. Y'all, a lot of chicken comments from earlier. That's good. I can always count on the YouTube chat for they hit on the important stuff, to be sure.
Yeah. Speaking of hitting
Back
the
to-
important stuff, I got you a Mets thing in this day in history. I thought about throwing in two.
Does it involve Keith Hernandez?
No. There was a couple I could have thrown in, but I chose one.
A lot happened around this time in 1986.
I just chose the biggest name.
A lot of them were supposed to be suspended.
Yeah, I didn't throw that in there.
The nose candy was prevalent. I was 10. I didn't know any better.
Yeah.
I had no idea who was doing what to Tim Tuffle's wife in the locker room. I don't even know if it was Tim Tuffle. Tim Tuffle was a second baseman. Yeah. Amy says gliding. Talking about chickens. They're not flying. They're gliding. I can go for that. That's your.
like when those people wear the wingsuits and do like the
Yes. Like a flying squirrel doesn't actually fly. Because you can't maintain your propulsion. Amy wins. No, Eric, I've never been at a chicken killing. I'm hesitant. Amy says, I think a lot of the smaller businesses show the struggle. Yeah, I know, but they're not going to have the following that I want to be like Musk. Oh, we're late. 7:57, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Thanks again to David St. Remain for stopping in for Crimestoppers. Love talking about the Beats Lab. Love the folks from Icar setting that up as well. We're late. Let's get to the outside in. The city of New Orleans is dropping some of its strict COVID mitigation measures just in time for Mardi Gras. Oh, wait. Since early January, indoor spaces in the city, including bars and restaurants, have been required to ask customers to show proof of vaccination or a recent negative test. Patrons were also required to wear a mask when they weren't eating or drinking. Ran into that twice on Tuesday. The timing coincides with a lessening of the Omicron risk and the end of the long carnival celebration that brought hundreds of thousands of visitors to the Crescent City. If COVID transmission and hospitalizations remain low, the city's vaccine or negative test requirement will be lifted on March 21st. By the way, for now, you still have to wear masks in schools and healthcare facilities within the Big Easy. Over to St. Landry Parish, a Confederate monument in front of the courthouse is coming down. This comes after the parish council voted Wednesday night to remove the monument. According to historians, the United Daughters of the Confederacy put up the monument back in 1920, which was not real close to the Civil War. The parish council passed a motion to remove it and replace it. In Ascension Parish, a pair of new businesses celebrated a ribbon-cutting ceremony yesterday at the Heritage Crossing, Highway 30 at Highway 44 in Gonzales. The Ascension Chamber of Commerce announcing the opening of both Tropical Smoothie Cafe and Orange Theory Fitness. All right. Get you some, Ascension. Taylor, you ever done Orange Theory?
I have not.
So it's like this interval timer training. It's supposed to be pretty good. A lot of people rave about it. If you're wondering, Heritage Crossing, the development where they're at, multi-use development. They got residential in there. They've got a little bit of business, a little bit of retail, and now a Tropical Smoothie Cafe and an Orange Theory Fitness. That's the Outside In. Quick break for CBS News. Coming back next.
I think they have an Orange Theory at that new shopping center area where Chick-fil-A, Smash Burger, all that is. What's up?
How you doing, bro?
Doing good.
Smash Burger still a thing?
I like the atmosphere in here when Taylor's here. I like it. It's just more welcoming. How you like that, Jay?
Dude, I appreciate it.
Party Jakes
I'm
on a
not,
4-day
I'm
music
not going to
festival.
get a better comment on compliment on this.
Taylor's the best. Anything new, Big?
About what? A lot of new.
I thought that was pretty simple. No?
It's kind of vague, Rich.
Taylor,
LSU basketball.
Did that not come across as...
LSU basketball lost last night. I slept for about an hour and a half.
What the hell is he doing this for? What, it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating to watch these guys. Fundamentally, you're going, what in the hell?
So I appreciate that Will Wade put an emphasis on defense this year, but there's got to be defense without fouling as well. Like, you foul way too much.
Let me tell you, Taylor, you know what? Let me tell you, this whole thing with Mulkey, I know she don't care. U.S. gold medal, 4 state champions at Hammond High, 3 at Baylor, 1 at Tech, all of that stuff. But if Dawn Staley was at LSU, she would have won Coach of the Year. If Nikki Vargas was still here,
Putting
went
up those
from 9
results?
wins to 25 wins.
I don't hear no lies there.
It's amazing, man. It's at whoa, stop. Amazing. That's such a travesty, man. That's outright.
So, yes, you're right. Mulkey does not care. And, yes, you're right. That's totally – no, I'm with you. And don't think for a second that this wasn't
But South Carolina was preseason number 1.
Right.
They've done everything she was supposed to do. LSU was 8th. Picked in the preseason. They finished second in their head. South
– So
Carolina
let me ask you this.
second.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
When LSU played South Carolina and Dawn Staley said, if the
Oh, yeah,
PMAC
yeah,
was rocking like that, when
Yeah,
Nick
Nikki
Var-
Vargas would have. That was her talent. I mean, it's just amazing. But how
Did-
blatant
no, but
that
did-
is, how blatant what she says is.
did that solidify her Coach of the Year right then?
Absolutely. Probably.
Like, when it all comes down to it, did that solidify it right then?
That's just sad, man. You know, and I get it. Kim don't care. She's bigger than that. But the principle of it is. Yep. Oh, Taylor, did you get engaged or you got married? Congrats. I heard that somewhere.
Appreciate it.
You all good?
Oh, yeah.
You got a date set?
Not yet. I mean, she's looking like
Can I be an usher?
Yeah.
If your guy gets sick or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, yell at him. I want
Absolutely.
to walk grandma out, man.
No,
What are you talking about, B? You know what I'm going to tell you something? You know how I know it's me and not the world?
How's that?
I've been in 8 weddings. And guess what? Every day I'm wedding. I never can be a groom. I'm always ushering. So I got to catch you.
You can only be a groom at your wedding.
Huh?
You
No,
gotta-
every time they want me to be
Oh,
an usher.
groomsman.
I'm always an usher.
Okay,
so I
yeah,
walk the purple hair up. Then I got to catch a yellow cab to the VFW hall for the reception.
Yeah, but if you
It's
catch
got to be me. It can't be
hey,
all these guys.
if you're the first one in the VFW hall, you get first crack at the Old Crow.
Damn right. Hey, guess what? Hey, by the time they get there, the little finger sandwiches are only potato salad.
There's only turkey and egg
Wait,
salad
hey,
left.
I got all the ham and the roast beef.
No, roast beef is gone. You ordered a whole tray of wheat bread?
I'm always a
No.
damn usher. That's how I am. I'm always a damn usher.
I mean, at least you
I'm like
made
the guy who ties the tugboat up once it gets to the shore. I can never get on it or drive it. I just tie that bastard up.
At least you're on the team, buddy. At least you're on the team.
Amen, baby. I'm on your team, Hal.
I mean,
man, I wish you were in here every day, Joe. I appreciate it.
easy now.
Hey, Taylor, one more thing.
What's up? Do what? I might be.
Oh, okay, because I know we mentioned that. I mean, that's good for you. I
I
hope.
think that's what they're planning on doing. Yeah. All right, let's do it.
It's okay. Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Brian here with you. Taylor Sharp producing. Got a busy hour coming your way this hour. Rick Prado is a former CIA officer. He's also the author of the book Black Ops. He's going to join us in our next segment. I say going to join us. Recorded interview. I sat down with Rick Monday. This is phenomenal insight from a guy who has seen it all. Breaks down not just the book. We don't just talk about the book, although we talk a lot about the book. But we don't just talk about the book. Russia and Ukraine from a former CIA officer's perspective. You're not going to want to miss that. It's on our next segment. And then, we're going to have some fun here. The folks at Caterpillar have a heavy equipment operation competition coming to Prairieville. Yes, like battle bots with backhoes, baby. Jason Hurdis is going to join us to talk about the competition. It's coming up in Prairieville, and we're going to break it down. That's all coming your way. Oh, I'm supposed to get you the weather here real quick. We are looking at partly cloudy skies today with a high of 77. Your warming trend continues tomorrow with a high of 82. Up to 84 on Saturday, up to 85 on Sunday. Looking like Sunday into Monday is where we're going to see some rain, and then that cold weather is going to reset again. Your overnight low Monday night gets all the way down to 47, and we top out at 66 on Tuesday. We got more rain in the forecast Wednesday through Friday of next week as well. So going to be a little more warming and then a whole lot of wet. Right now we are at 55 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. All right, time to wind back the clocks. Time to jump in the Wayback Machine. Time to go back in time. Taylor's got this day in history.
Taylor does have this day in history. Thank you for that introduction, Brian.
I did say Taylor, right?
You did.
Okay. Yeah, late night.
Let's start just a few years ago in 1789.
I was there.
The first whale was harpooned in the Pacific Ocean. Look, I hit the high notes in there.
You do.
Okay.
So good.
The English ship Amelia is the one. That's
the
whole ship.
Who do we know? Who's the whole ship? We don't know. Like, who hit him?
I think Amelia herself.
The ship was named Amelia.
1805. This one's sort of important. The Louisiana-Missouri Territory forms.
Yeah! Remember tweeting about that.
You do?
Yeah.
1813. The Office of Surgeon General of the U.S. Army forms.
Okay.
1835. Congress authorizes a U.S. mint in New Orleans, Louisiana.
Big time.
It's big time.
Isn't it like a bug museum now?
I don't know.
The Insectorium or something like that?
Yeah, I've heard of them.
It's part of the Audubon Institute.
Yeah. 1845, Florida becomes the 27th state of the Union, and shortly after, the first Florida Man story came to be.
Did they have Florida Man stories before there was a Florida Man? Or before there was a Florida?
No, they did, but they didn't know what to call it.
Right.
It was just the man. 1875, the first recorded hockey game. Where did it take place?
Oh? Who won?
I don't know. It took place in Montreal, though.
Okay.
I was going to guess Kentucky, but apparently Montreal.
No. Not a whole lot of hockey in
1883,
Kentucky.
Congress authorizes the first steel vessels in the U.S. Navy.
Really?
Really.
That seems. I felt like there was one in the Civil War.
Maybe it wasn't authorized.
Oh, they went rogue.
1885, American Telephone and Telegraph Company incorporates, known as AT&T.
Okay.
1891, the U.S. Congress creates the Court of Appeals.
Later that same day, someone got disconnected by customer service.
They did. 1919, the first international airmail service from the U.S. in Seattle to Victoria, British Columbia.
That's pretty cool.
That's why I threw it in there, man. 1923, Time magazine publishes its first issue. On the cover, Joseph G. Cannon, who at the time was the Speaker of the House.
Joseph G. Cannon.
Yeah.
All right.
They call him JGC for short.
I know. That's how I knew him.
1931, Star-Spangled Banner officially becomes U.S. national anthem.
See, again, I feel like that should have been much older than this.
Maybe it wasn't official.
Well,
1933, Mount Rushmore is dedicated.
that feels like it's in the right period of time.
Yeah.
That one actually works.
Here's a fun one. 1955, Elvis Presley makes his first TV appearance on a broadcast of the radio show Louisiana Hayride.
Yes, sir. Did you know that?
I do now.
Okay.
1956, Elvis Presley's first hit in Billboard's top 10 was
Blue Suede Shoes.
Heartbreak Hotel.
Ah.
Very close. 1965, The Temptations' My Girl reaches #1 in the U.S.
Okay.
I threw this one in because it was fun, and I did not know this. Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback in 1983, Terry Bradshaw, admitted to the hospital for surgery to repair his throwing arm. The fun thing is he had an alias. What was his alias?
I don't know.
Tom Brady.
Stop it.
That is a real thing. And even better, in 1983, Tom Brady was in his 14th season in the NFL. So he had already had 3 Super Bowls by that point. 1991, the Rodney King riots, Los Angeles.
Yep. Yeah, the vicious beating of Rodney King was today.
1994, little New York Mets action.
Oh.
The IRS officially begins an investigation into baseball player Darryl Strawberry. It's Brian's guy, big Strawberry guy.
I'm a big Darryl. You mentioned the Mets in '94, and basically the investigation into Darryl Strawberry was the best thing that happened to that franchise the whole year.
I had a couple I could have thrown in there.
I mean, this was the
I chose
worst.
Strawberry.
There's a book written called "The Worst Team Money Can Buy." Apt.
I would say the Marlins, but they don't spend any money.
Well, it's true. Money didn't buy them.
You ready for some birthdays?
Yes.
Camila Cabello, 25 years old today.
Whoa, okay.
Jessica Biel, 40.
I think I've seen Camila Cabello perform live. She's a singer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I saw her at the Bruno Mars concert a couple years ago.
Oh, she opened for him?
Yeah.
That sounds about right. That's about when she got, big.
Yeah, the 24 Karat Magic Tour.
Yeah. Jason Tatum
Awful
of the
show.
Boston Celtics, 24 years old.
Yes, I had that one.
Stud. Herschel Walker, 60 years old.
Yes.
And sort of New Orleans Saints wide receiver Michael Thomas, 29 years old today.
Why is he sort of?
Because he hasn't played in 2 years.
Yeah, but he will play again.
He might.
Also, actress Julie Bowen.
Saw that.
Modern Family is 52. And Jessica Biel is 40.
I said Jessica Biel.
You said Jessica Biel?
I said Jessica Biel right after Camila Cabello.
See, I got hung up on the Camila Cabello.
Yeah. You're blabbering.
Just that
and
awfulness of it was. Bruno Mars killed it. His show's phenomenal.
Was that the one in New Orleans?
Yeah.
I think my sister went to that one.
Yeah.
All right. Deaths. One important death of note. Trayvon Martin in 2012.
Oh, my.
Trayvon Martin.
Okay. Wow.
Other than that, there was
God,
literally no other.
That was 10 years ago.
10 years. Yeah, guys, I started adding it up when I did it. And yeah, I think I was a sophomore in high school. And I graduated high school 8 years ago, so yeah.
My word.
Yeah.
Getting old.
All right, national days. It's Canadian Bacon Day. Taylor loves him some Canadian bacon.
Is it also Ham Day? Because
Yeah, I mean, basically. That's what it is.
Do you get Canadian bacon on the pizza?
I do sometimes. Tell you who has good. Lit Pizza has the thin Canadian bacon. They do it good.
I love me some Lit Pizza.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of places that's why I love Mooyah so much. Everybody gets what they want. Same thing with Lit.
Yeah, they have a good Canadian bacon. I want you to be happy day.
That's sweet.
If pets had thumbs day.
If pets had thumbs
Some
day.
pets have thumbs. If you had a monkey as a pet.
Right.
Or yeah.
Yeah. They have a thumb and
Yeah.
a tail.
Yeah.
I don't have
a
a
lot
tail.
of pets have tails.
Well, but I'm just saying to have both of them. A tail they could utilize.
True.
Like your dog is not going to swing from a bar
Yeah,
from his tail.
But yeah, if you had a monkey as a pet, they have thumbs. International Ear Care Day.
Huh?
International Ear Care Day.
No, I heard you. I take care of my ears. I just
I
didn't know
had
that was a
to
thing.
back in September when I busted my eardrum. That was fun.
I don't remember this.
Okay, so I was on a boat in the bay in Gulf Shores,
Uh-huh.
and we had a raft pulling behind it.
Okay.
I mean, I fell off the raft so hard, I hit the water.
Oh,
I was
my
on it
goodness.
with my brother-in-law. He lost his wedding ring, and I busted my eardrum, left ear.
Wow.
I can't hear 100% out of it, but it's pretty close.
Do you only get the good stuff or only get the bad stuff?
Bad stuff, of
Yeah, I
course. No,
figured.
I'm not supposed to fly for a year, but I'm actually going to break that in August. It happened late September.
I
I wasn't
mean,
supposed to fly for a year.
So is 11 months really going to make
yeah,
that big a
it's
difference?
probably just recommended.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm fine now. But yeah, for about a month, I had to
What
put,
happens if you fly and something goes wrong? Was it bust again?
I mean, it might. That's what I'm saying. But the good news is I have another one. So
Yeah.
it's always the positive about losing your
And
hearing.
like
in one
if
ear.
you bust the same eardrum twice, is that like tearing an ACL? Like
Probably.
once the second
yeah,
time,
the
you're
second one's
done.
Just,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, you can repair it once.
It is National Anthem Day.
Yeah, it is.
Appropriately. National Cold Cuts Day.
Okay. So we have Canadian bacon and cold cuts.
Taylor loves this day. It's Talking Third Person Day.
I was wondering why you
Yeah,
were
I've
doing
thrown
that.
it in a few times.
I was
Foreshadowing
wondering-
Brian
I
Haldane.
was there? Was he going somewhere? Of
Yes,
course
I
he
was.
All right.
It's World Birth Defects Day. It is National Cheerleading Week. And I'm surprised I haven't hit this one up yet. It is National Pancake Week.
National Pancake Week.
National Pancake Week.
All right.
Love some pancakes, man. God.
Who doesn't? Although, so as I understand that Jay and Chuck have a running debate about what's better between a pancake and a waffle.
Depends on where you get it,
Really?
I think. Some waffles are too thick, but at the same time, some pancakes are too thick.
You ever been to Gatlinburg?
Yeah, plenty of times.
Why does everybody have pancakes on the menu in Gatlinburg?
Okay, so there's like 175 pancake houses between Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge.
Yeah. I don't understand. I
But
think
then there's a 2-hour line for the one called Pancake Pantry.
Right.
It's like, I'm going to go to the one a block away where there's no line.
and you get the exact same
Yeah,
thing.
how
It's
much
all
different
the
could
exact
it
same
possibly
thing.
be?
I'm thinking it's,
Mini golf courses in Gatlinburg, too.
yeah.
Like a lot of those.
Yeah, and
Mini
the
golf and pancake.
the mountain coasters.
Yeah.
Goats on the roof.
Yeah, they got 3 of those.
Yeah.
That is not 3 goats, 3 buildings.
Right.
That is your This Day in History.
All right, we're due up for a break. Great job, Taylor. We're due up for a break. When we come back, we're gonna get serious again. Rick Prado is the author of Black Ops, The Life of a CIA Shadow Warrior. Got the chance to speak with him about not just his book, but about the situation with Russia and Ukraine, and we will dive into that next on Talk 107.3.
And that is in yesterday's.
Should be.
Toss them out of the waxes below an inch tall, and don't ever leave a candle burning when you leave the house. Another fire safety tip from Guarantee Media and Baton Rouge General's Regional Burn Center.
Perfect. We can go straight into it.
Yes.
Look, that's awesome. You got a CIA guy on it. I'm a little upset it wasn't Jack Ryan, but
Glad you mentioned Jack
he
Ryan.
wasn't available.
You'll want to pay attention to that part.
Well,
The
the hard part about getting Jack Ryan is that 6 people played him. So
right?
why is that?
Why is what?
Like Jack Ryan was played by like 10 different people.
I don't know.
Because
But-
like Harrison Ford was Jack Ryan, Ben Affleck was Jack Ryan.
Yeah.
Alec Baldwin was, but he had a happy trigger finger, so they pulled him. And then John Krasinski was him on like the TV show
Right.
spinoff. I'm like, just give one person. Those are good movies, though.
So, oh, damn it.
I'll skip
Just
it.
delete it.
Like right now?
Yeah. Yeah, I think Daniel Tirone just made like the regular guest roster. He was awesome. So when we're back in, just kill our mics and that plays over YouTube. Yeah. Yeah, I really appreciate her actually saying traffic cameras.
A lot of action on this camera. It's like there's a lot of congestion.
Let's watch these two smash. Been looking forward to this conversation since it first came across my email. Joined right now by Rick Prado. He is the author of Black Ops, The Life of a CIA Shadow Warrior. Rick, good morning. Welcome to Talk 107.3. How are you, sir?
Good morning, Brian. Thank you very much for having me on the air.
Glad to have you on here. I'm looking forward to talking about the book, but we've got to start with the headlines because you provide a unique perspective that I think is worth sharing. Russia and Ukraine are at war right now. What's America's role? What's the CIA's role as this progresses?
Well, America's role is what it always has been, to try to be the world leader in proposing and enforcing freedom in the world. However, that's a job that's a lot broader than just ours, and we need our allies to step up and support the fight. It's not a one-person show. But, you know, what's going on in the Ukraine now is no surprise to me, because that is the way the Russian expansionism has been since communism started in 1917. It is control, it's oppress. You know, the thing that, you know, socialism is a mask that communists wear to lure people in with the utopic ideas of we are all going to be equal. And they're right. Everybody's going to be miserably equal except for those in power. So for us to be surprised that Putin, who's the quintessential Russian and alter ego to every Russian male, is doing something that he hasn't been planning all along, it's been there. It's just he sees an opportunity now.
When it comes to intelligence, and the I in CIA stands for intelligence, how do you go about gathering and sifting through when you're dealing with a regime that specializes in misinformation and disinformation?
Well, you know, that's an excellent question, because there's a big difference between information and intelligence. Intelligence is what's gathered through sources that are vetted and that are recruited to provide information that we verify and we test until we're very comfortable with that individual, and we'll never, ever stop scrutinizing it. So the intelligence gathering process is one of recruiting individuals that have access to what's going on, whether they're their own government officials or whatever other profession has access to these people, to find out what is going on. Then, of course, you know, there's other intelligence efforts, you know, like signals intercept, satellite overlook, but all those things could tell you what it can see, but it cannot give you plans and intentions of our enemy. And that's why intel collection, human intelligence collections, is so important. You cannot have a good picture if you don't have that part of it. Technology by itself cannot do it.
How much of your career was spent fighting communism, and how much was fighting terrorism, and what kind of areas overlap there?
You know, it's funny because it's kind of a combination. In Honduras, Nicaragua, it was fighting communism, and they were doing some terrorist stuff and helping Salvador, but it was communism. Subsequently, when in Latin America, places where I served for several years, where we were fighting communist terrorists, Maoist terrorists, leftist terrorists. And so my whole career was divided in 4 years of very mainstream, which was when I was running the Koreas. I did 4 years as the agency operational representative for anything to do with Koreas and North Korea. That's how I made my senior grade in the agency. But the other 5 overseas tours that I did were all either counterterrorism and or communism.
We've got Rick Prado. He's a former CIA officer and author of Black Ops, The Life of a CIA Shadow Warrior. Rick, got to dive into your history a little bit. I mean, just your family escaped Castro's regime to get over here. How do you get from there to the CIA?
Well, my family did not get out at first. I was the only one that was able to get out initially. I was 10 years old when I left Cuba by myself. I'm an only child, and my dad put me on a plane to come to America. And I ended up in a Catholic orphanage in Pueblo, Colorado. My parents were able to come out 8 or 9 months later. But, you know, what I experienced in Cuba is communism and what they did to my family, what they did to my first country. And then seeing, you know, what we went through, the welcoming of the United States, how they opened their arms and helped us get established and begin in the American dream, put a debt of honor on my conscience, which my dad fueled, by the way. So I think that the experiences of seeing and witnesses firsthand and having a temperament that led me to be not risk adverse, let's say, having a purpose for that adventurism was important to me, and I had to find different venues. The first one was I joined Air Force Pararescue, which is the elite Air Force, one of the two elite Air Force components in 1971. I was 20 years old. From there, I got into the agency, and when my first assignment was fighting the Sandinista communist regime in Nicaragua, and that was a pro-insurgency. I was the only guy for the first 14 months helping train, supply the freedom fighters that were trying to get back their country.
Rick Prado, author of Black Ops, Life of a CIA Shadow Warrior, is our guest. Rick, I've got to ask you about the difference between fact and fiction, the difference between real life and movies. How close does Hollywood get to any level of accuracy when it comes to... I know you're laughing, but I got to ask it anyway. What we see on screen versus what happens in real life.
But, you know, that is, Brian, that's a very, very good question. It fits right in because it is the primary reason that I wrote the book. I never wanted to be an author. That was never in my wish list. But, you know, we lost a lot of people through the agency. There's 173 stars on our wall, people that have died, many anonymous for this country. And to be portrayed as an immoral, corrupt, treacherous, and maniacal assassin a la Jason Bourne, it's an insult to the sacrifice that some of my colleagues have made. In Black Ops, you will learn and experience how the CIA works, real CIA successful missions done by real CIA operations officers. It will keep you riveted without the James Bond, intrigue of bungee jumping from a mountain kind of stuff. So it's very, very sad. And sadly, it's even more sadly is that it is all negative. There's very few movies or novels out there that portray the agency in a positive light. And that is one of the main goals of my book.
And the book is called Black Ops: The Life of a CIA Shadow Warrior. Rick, we've got about a minute left or so before I know you're gonna move on. But in this last minute or so, give us one of the stories that's in the book. One of the stories you tell where, let's say, you felt your life was most in danger.
There's about 4 or 5 of those that are really pointy end stories. And one took place in the Philippines when we were confronted, me and a couple of buddies of mine, by 3 NPA, National People's Army assassins. There were some of the paramilitary stuff that I did in Nicaragua, literally in Nicaraguan waters, coming under Nicaraguan Sandinistas' fire. The blowing up of Puerto Cabezas in the east coast of Africa with my specially trained mosquito divers that I physically took all the way into Nicaraguan waters and to that port. All of those are very well detailed in the book, but those are some that I'm very proud of because I was able to do them. I was blessed with the opportunity to do some damage to that enemy.
Do more books like this need to be out to counter what Hollywood does, or is the CIA comfortable just doing what they do and let people believe what they believe?
Absolutely. We need more of this. My agency is media phobic. and they have to wake up to the 21st century and allow stories like my book. My book is fully cleared by the CIA, which is it's a good indicator that maybe they're getting the message, because FBI can advertise its successes to counter any kind of flap. We can't, and we don't. We need to do a much better job of that as an agency.
He is Rick Prado, former CIA officer and author of the book Black Ops, The Life of a CIA Shadow Warrior. Rick, I can't tell you how much I appreciate a couple minutes of your time. Thank you for your service to this country, and thank you for this book.
Thank you.
8:30, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. That'll be available on demand at talk1073.com. Shortly after the show is over, I didn't notice when I was recording it, the handler said "gotta go" at the end right there. I did not hear that until real time. Crazy. So what about it? The CIA, they're kind of supposed to be in the shadows, right? I mean, the title of the book, The Life of a CIA Shadow Warrior. We're about to see a wealth of information out there about the CIA. Is Rick going to be starting a trend, if you will? But his takeaways about Russia and Ukraine, not to be overlooked as well. As much as I enjoyed talking about the book, really enjoyed getting his insight on what we're looking at on the other side of the world. Which, by the way, if you missed it earlier in the show, Dr. Daniel Tirone from LSU also joined us to talk about Russia and Ukraine. So we're pretty Russia and Ukraine covered this morning. Take a quick break. When we come back, we're talking heavy equipment operation next.
continues its assault on the country. Former Lsu basketball player Roman lives in Ukraine and says Russian President Vladimir Putin has underestimated the pride and the resolve of Ukrainians, many of whom have been given assault rifles to fight back.
25,000 Kalashnikovs have been given out to the militia. So if Russian soldiers actually do make it into the city, I believe they're not going to like it very much.
Rudchenko says he's living in a rural area several miles south of the capital city of Kyiv. Gas prices went up 7 cents last night, according to Louisiana AAA. The statewide average for a gallon of regular gasoline is now up to $3.48.
Anna says on YouTube, our priest said, bless the meat and call it fish. The whole no meat thing is a made-up rule. But Anna, first of all, are you Catholic? Because this dates back to like early church. Meat was much more of a luxury back then, and it is more to the point of it's a conscious act of sacrifice. It's bringing to the forefront where your decisions go. It's actively making a decision. What's happening, Bo?
His computer died yesterday, so I gave him a laptop. It died this morning, so now they have 100.7's new Adobe computer.
Oh, fantastic. There's that laptop over there. It barely works. This one can't maintain a charge, but it does work. Yeah.
Now, your WBRZ traffic update from Ashley Fouché.
Travelers still dealing with slowdowns in Desert Springs, but it's improving. 22 minutes between the 10-12 split. Across the river, no problems on both sides of the interstate. You might find a little bit of a slowdown at the 10
Correct. It is a sacrifice, not a sin. 100%, Anna. That's right.
See an accident? Report it at WBRC Traffic on Twitter.
This report is brought to you by Shawbills, where you can get up to $170 with the purchase of 4 eligible Michelin tires. Visit ShawbillsTire.com to learn more.
GatorWorks believes that your website should be the perfect full-time salesperson, one that always looks sharp, never says the wrong thing, and is always available. If your website isn't creating more leads for your business, what is it doing? Visit our salesperson at GatorWorks.net.
How do you choose the right attorney? I give you the answers at MurphyLawFirm.com. Don't allow insurance companies to take advantage of you. Make the right decision.
I love the number of Catholics last year who said, I didn't get my Mardi Gras, so I'm not giving up my meat. I mean, you know?
You're supposed to call us.
I believe so.
He's gonna answer the unanswered phone. He's gonna be like, yo, it's the cat.
Do what?
I'm gonna answer the phone. He's gonna be like, yo, it's the cat.
The cat? The cat from Caterpillar?
So, all right, no promo here.
Thank you. Which I'm going to do a Go Slim because I wasn't here on Tuesday.
And you need to be on that.
Yeah. Yeah. I speak a new language. Shooting pain. Damn. Oh. Ooh.
Jason, where the hell are you?
They're technically not until 8:40, so I got 2 minutes. Good Lord. That hurts. .838 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. So there's a fun new competition coming to Baton Rouge, and we're going to dive in on this in about 2 minutes. We're going to be talking about Heavy Equipment Operator Challenge, the Caterpillar Global Operator Challenge. I can't wait to find out more about this. I mean, are we talking like BattleBots meets NASCAR? Are we talking like backhoe versus backhoe? Are we talking the Renaissance games of bulldozers? What are we looking at here? The 2022-2023 Caterpillar Global Operator Challenge coming to Prairieville in short order, and we're going to talk with Jason Hurdis, Global Application Specialist from Caterpillar, in just a little bit. So, Mardi Gras is over with. Lent is upon us. Lent is a good time to hit reset. Not just within your religious life and spiritual life, but taking a look at your health as well, which is why I love my partnership with Go Slim Nutrition, GEAUX SlimBR.com. A lot of folks like to give up a couple things for Lent. Oftentimes those things will work within or around weight loss and healthier lifestyle choices. Well, if you're in, why not get all in? Give them a call at 763-9600. 763-9600. There are jumpstart plans available right now. Lent is also the beginning of the countdown to summertime, right? Memorial Day being the unofficial start of summer. The countdown is on right now. You can lose 20 pounds before summer. That's a legitimate goal. You could lose 20 pounds before summertime. Before you put on the bathing suit, you could drop 20 pounds. But more than that, you're making healthier lifestyle choices. You're doing what's right for your heart. You're doing what's right for your body. You're doing what's right for your family. Go Slim Nutrition. They're on Bluebonnet at Perkins Road. Last year, I lost 60 pounds with them, y'all. I mean, the program works. Because the program, and it's so much more than just a diet. It's a full-on program. The program works within your lifestyle. You're able to take what you've got on your calendar and work the plan within it. Give them a call, 763-9600, or check out GEAUXSlimBR.com, or just swing by. I go by every Friday for my weigh-in. I call it Food Confession. We sit down, talk about what I've done right, what I've done wrong, how I can do better in the week to come, and then we map out what I've got going on for that week and how I can go about attacking that in the right way. GEAUXSlimBR.com. All right, waiting on Jason Hurdis here from, there he is right there, from Caterpillar. This is going to be a lot of fun. This is not something I would have ever seen coming. But the headline in the press release reads, calling all operators, take on the world and the industry's toughest competition on earth. In a time when skills are in high demand, heavy equipment operators have a chance to be celebrated for their expertise. So, yes, this is going to transfer over into talking a little bit about jobs, but I'm all about the competition. Jason Hurdis is a global application specialist for Caterpillar, and he joins us now. Jason, welcome to Talk 107.3. How are you, man?
Good, Brian. How are you today?
Doing very, very well. So the Global Operator Challenge is coming to Prairieville. Tell us all about it.
The Global Operator Challenge this time is the 2.0 version of our first version, and it's even better than it was the first time. It is focused on new machines, different types of machines and equipment and applications that we'll test the different operators on to find out who truly is the best operator in the world.
What types of machines are we talking about here?
Any type of heavy equipment. So excavators, wheel loaders, truck-type tractors, backhoes, skid steers, and everything in between will be tested.
And how do they compete? Is this like time trials? Are they going head-to-head? Are they going to fight?
Hopefully it won't be a fight, but
Okay.
we've partnered with Mustang Cat to design a set of challenges or tests, if you will, that each operator will participate in. And it could be different machine platforms, different technology uses, different real-life job sites that will ask the operators to perform, and it's time-based. So how long does it take them to complete the challenge? And during that challenge, there's also penalties that the operator could incur that are also time-based. So the operator with the lowest overall challenge time will then progress to the next level.
And how many operators are we expecting for this sort of this competition?
Well, in our first version in 2019 and 2020, globally, we had tens of thousands of operators participate, and we're hoping to get that many operators participating again to make that competition even more viable and more competitive than it was last time.
What kind of skill is needed for this? I mean, I'm guessing like just the ability to operate the machine is not enough to advance you in the competition. There's got to be some other transferable skills that we're talking about here.
Well, if you look at the skills of a heavy equipment operator today, you know, Brian, compared to where they were 5 years ago or 10 years ago, they're dramatically different because the machines are different. The technology on the machines are significantly different. The platforms perform differently. The size of the machines are actually smaller, but you can do more things with a smaller machine today than you could 5, 10 years ago. But the operators still need critical thinking skills. They still need to understand the machines, the capabilities of those machines, the technologies, the features, the operator ease of use features on those machines, and continuously apply them to their job and their job site to meet their production needs and their quotas.
We're going to get back around to the fun aspect of this in a minute, but I got to talk about the labor shortage right now and the dearth of skilled workers within the country. Does this hit your industry as well? I mean, are we looking at a shortage of operators in that group?
Oh, for sure, Brian. I could take you to any customer job site in the world, and they're going to tell you the number one pain point is finding skilled labor and finding operators. And that's one of the reasons we're doing the Operator Challenge, is we want to bring awareness to the industry. We want to bring awareness to being a heavy equipment operator so that we can recruit the next generation, so we can help to close that skilled trade gap in heavy equipment operation.
When's the competition coming up, and who's eligible to get in on this?
Any operator from any industry is eligible to participate. Mustang Cat has their local event in May.
Mm-hmm.
So all of our dealers between March and September of this year are hosting local competition. So operators will visit the local dealer, they'll get tested, they'll get stressed there, and they move to phase 2, which is the semifinals or a regional event that we're hosting in the United States, Japan, Brazil, and Spain, where once again the operators will be tested on different machine platforms, different routines, different technologies, where we'll find out the final 9, and we'll ask those final 9 to move to phase 3, which is the Global Operator Challenge Finals that we're going to host at ConExpo in March of 2023. And at the end of that day at ConExpo, we will introduce the world's best operator.
What does the world's best operator get?
The first thing they get is bragging rights. They get recognition that they are recognized as the world's best operator. The other thing they get is they get a trip to any Caterpillar facility anywhere in the world to learn more about Caterpillar, visit the facilities, and have a little bit of fun along the way.
Very, very cool stuff. Hey, where do folks go if they want to learn more?
If they want to learn more about the challenge, learn more about Mustang Cat, they can go to cat.com/operator challenge.
Cat.com/operator challenge. All right, we're talking with Jason Hurdis. He's a global application specialist for Caterpillar. Jason, before I get you out of here, I got to ask about this on a competitive level. I've got to ask about this from the perspective of, is this good for spectators as well? Is this something we can watch and take in, or is it so intricate we wouldn't even know what we're looking at?
No, it's open to operators and spectators. I mean, last time operators would bring their family, they'd bring their friends, their significant others to watch and learn what they would do.
Mm-hmm.
We had other trade schools that would let kids out of class for the day to come watch the event. It'll be hosted in person at the dealers, at the regional event, and at ConExpo, as well as virtually. We'll have it posted online so people can watch from their laptops.
I mean, I don't know about you, but this sounds like a match made in heaven for ESPN 8 The Ocho. Every August 8th, ESPN steps away from the format to cover more obscure sports. I feel like y'all are making your way towards this.
I don't know about that. Again, we want to highlight the operators, the skills that they need to compete in the industry, and bring more talent to the heavy equipment operation job code.
It's going to be going on in Prairieville, at Caterpillar out there in Prairieville. Cat.com/operator challenge. How long is registration open till?
Again, the Mustang event's in May, so you can register up until the month of May. And again, if you visit the website, it'll give you all the details and the deadlines on registration, the location, the time of the event, the requirements, etc.
He is Jason Hurdis, Global Application Specialist for Caterpillar. It sounds like it's going to be a fun event, to be sure. I can't wait to see if we get any local talent that makes it on the world stage in the Caterpillar world. Jason, I appreciate a couple minutes this morning.
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate your time.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I don't know why he pooped on the Ocho idea.
I love that idea.
Doesn't it seem like it's the perfect fit?
Yeah. But then again, wouldn't you have to have kind of like demolition derby? You could switch it into that.
They got strongman competition. You know,
this is way more entertaining than the strongman competition.
If you can have like a Norwegian dude put on a belt and pull an 18-wheeler, then you can have this.
Yeah, because at least this is like a skill that you can use. No one's ever going to have to pull an 18-wheeler.
You know, they have
unless you're Dwayne Johnson in Fast and the Furious, you're not going to do it.
Exactly. They have competitive cornhole on ESPN now. You're telling me that I can watch 4 rednecks toss beanbags?
I love the cornhole championships.
Oh, me too. Chris and I watched an hour of it one day, and we're like, what are we doing? We were into it. Like, they're trash talking back and forth, like up at each other's grill, just like, you see what I just did, son? Like you're holding a long neck Miller Lite. You're not an athlete.
Tossing a beanbag.
You're tossing a beanbag. But you're like, I don't know. I would like to see the full-on trash talking. Like, bring this thing down here. Bring this thing to we will tailgate. We will all wear yellow.
An infield like NASCAR.
Oh, yes. And then just, cleanup's easy because you got the excavator right there. All right. I appreciate Jason's time. I'm not sure he appreciated mine. Here comes your money now. I mean, he crapped all over the idea of putting it on TV. Come on, dude. Your built-in corporate sponsorship, for Christ's sake.
Love Gas Buddy.
Have you gotten the Get Upside app yet?
No.
Have you heard the commercials for Get Upside?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I downloaded the app, and I can tell you that on your first fill up, you will be remarkably rewarded for getting gas with a 25-cent per gallon bonus. After that, it drops off significantly. I got $4 and change back off my first tank of gas, and I have a 12-gallon tank. I drive a Ford Focus. All right? Bragging. Yeah, when gas prices go up, everybody who drives a truck wants my car.
Well, you know what though? I have an anger problem when I'm on the road, and I decided the other day that my next truck will be a diesel. So I'm not gonna save money on gas. I decided, and here's why. Again, I had one of those little Fiat Elon Musk special smart cars or whatever the hell you call them.
Those are three different things, but keep going.
And it pulled out in front of me. There was a little bitty spot. And of course, it was the only car that could fit.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I'm tired of this. So I was like, I'm going to get a diesel.
Okay.
Just to piss them off like they did me.
Oh, you're saying you're going opposite.
Oh, yeah.
Like you want
I'm
the
flipping.
dirtiest fuel possible.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If I don't have a black puff of smoke every time I squeal my tires at the red light, I don't want it.
So what you're going to go Dodge Ram? Do they make a diesel anymore?
I think I'm going to go Ford King Ranch.
Yeah.
I'm going to go King Ranch.
That's the popular truck for this parking lot.
King Ranch edition. That's what I'm going to do.
I've seen there's another one that doesn't fit in one parking spot.
Oh, that's what I'm hoping for. Like, that's my goal.
Is to have the truck with the wheelbase so wide.
Or I'll fit in the spot. No, I don't want that where the tire hangs out past the fender. Don't want that.
There is one in this building.
I know.
Yeah.
Get in one wreck and your axle is just destroyed.
Well,
I want
the guy who owns
truck,
it isn't worried about that.
I want the truck that it'll fit in the spot, but my mirrors are out so that nobody can park next to me.
Okay.
That's what I want.
Okay. But would you park in two spots?
Oh no,
To
I'd
show
park
you're
in
that
I'd park
guy?
in one, but the mirrors would prevent people from parking next to me. So either way, I'm good. Because it's technically not my fault. I'm not the double parking guy.
Right.
You can't fit
technically
next
you're
to
in
me,
between
you
the
can't
lines.
fit.
Hey, why can't truck drivers pull into a parking spot? Is it required by law that all truck drivers back into every parking spot?
I can tell you that it irritates me immensely, and I do not back into parking spots.
Interesting.
Now, if there's an empty parking lot and like
You'll
it's
go
a tight,
through it and pull.
It's a tight squeeze. I
Yeah.
may turn and then back up.
Yeah.
It's like an empty spot, but no, I'm not going to be like, get out, baby. Let me have a backup in this parking lot while I back this sucker in. No, that's not me.
I thought it was required by law.
It's not actually. No.
I
And
see it a
this will
lot.
surprise no one in Livingston Parish. It's 10 times worse. Because our parking lots are smaller. We got more big trucks and more people back in. I'm at Texas Roadhouse on a Friday night. It's already an hour,
forget about it.
45-minute wait.
No,
and those
forget
dudes
about-
are backing up.
Yeah, go get in line and get us a table. I'm going to park.
That's literally what
I'll be there in 40 minutes.
And then I'm trying to just get around them to go park like a
and then,
normal person.
acting like they're all badass when they've got backup cameras. Backup cameras are cheating. We have a backup camera in the wife's Atlas.
Here's the
It's so
thing,
easy.
though. I have a theory that if you spend so much money on your tires and your lift kit or whatever, you're not a badass. Everything in my truck is stock, including my AC
That's the
that
way
doesn't work.
That's the way God meant it to be.
Yeah, my AC doesn't work.
It's not supposed to.
No.
Remember
You know
when
my
AC was
is in
optional?
the summertime? The window comes down.
Yeah. There was a time when air conditioner was optional.
I have an aux cord in my truck. I have to use the cassette
cigarette-
tape. No, I have the cassette tape
Oh.
with the iPhone adapter plugged into the phone.
That's really old school.
Yep, cassette tape. And even better, I have a CD holder on my visor that holds all my CDs that I listen to. I have 8 of them up there.
Okay, what's in the mix?
I got a Jason Aldean, a John Party, a Linkin Park, believe it or not.
Wow.
I'm a Linkin Park guy.
I did not know that.
Just for working out and stuff. But
Yeah.
if somebody cuts me off in traffic and I need to get pumped up a little
Hell
bit,
yeah.
Linkin Park comes on. A Sam Smith CD. I'm diverse with it.
Wow.
I'm a Sam Smith fan, man.
I mean,
yeah, that's. And then
you're about 2 seconds away from dropping a Melissa Etheridge on me.
no, there's another one. Oh, Chris Stapleton CD.
Oh, Chris Stapleton.
That's it. That's what I got.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I got a collection, man. No NBA YoungBoy, surprisingly. I just couldn't find any. I tried.
So, NBA YoungBoy, who's not going to have any albums come out anytime soon. I don't understand a lot of rappers' names anymore. And that's making me old. I feel
Lil
old
Baby.
because of it.
There is no way that every other rap name was taken that you had to settle on that. So he actually
Lil
chose that,
Baby,
and that's
yeah.
an awful name.
Well, it's like the character from Righteous Gemstones. There's Uncle Baby Billy.
Yeah.
The dude that was shot was True Bleeda. It's apt.
I mean, yeah, it's appropriately named. Or C. Murder, who was on under house arrest.
Yeah, see murder, do murder. I don't know how we got from point A to point B there. 856, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. If you weren't watching during the break, you just missed all of it. Thanks again to Jason Hurdis from Caterpillar for hopping on board. Yeah, they're missing the boat. They're missing the boat. This has ESPN 8 written all over it. Just know who you are, be what you are. This is going to be a legit competition.
You can get Gary Danielson to broadcast, make it an all-day event.
I like it.
That'll get people's blood flowing because he knows how to push the right freaking buttons.
Yes, he does.
God, Gary.
Yeah. I mean, and then, like, once you get in it, then you start seeing people from other regions, and then, like, ESPN can hate LSU on heavy equipment as well.
Brent Musburger's not doing anything.
Oh! I like
Musburger Danielson or Musburger Vern Lundquist. I like that.
That was my Vern Lundquist.
It's solid.
All right. We're just about done here for the day. I appreciate all the guests who hopped on board. Patty G back in the first hour. Dr. Daniel Tirone was phenomenal. He's from LSU. Talking a political science aspect of Russia and Ukraine. Also, Rick Prado, from a former CIA officer who's now the author of the book Black Ops. And, of course, Jason Hurdis. And let's not forget David St. Romain for stopping on board as well. Before I get out of here, got to remind you about the folks over at the Baton Rouge Mattress Outlet. You know where to find them. 4065 Florida Boulevard if you're in Mid-City. Bigger footprint right there. A lot more beds to try right there. But nothing they can't do at the corner of Jefferson and Hoosier, too. Both locations of Baton Rouge Mattress Outlet have you taken care of. Look, the key to a good night's sleep starts with a good mattress. I got to tell you, when Christy and I upgraded our mattress, I had no idea how badly we needed a mattress until we got a mattress. And then it was just a total world of difference. Top name brand mattresses, adjustable bases, they're all on sale right now. Free delivery if you mention you heard about it right here. By the way, that goes for both locations. If you're at the main shop on Florida Boulevard or out on Jefferson and Hoosier 2, you will get free delivery if you mention, you got to drop my name though. If you mention you heard about it here, they will deliver for you for free. If you missed anything, it's going to be available on demand. I'm still trying to unpack everything that Dr. Daniel Tirone had to say, and I got to go back to one or two comments from the YouTube chat during that segment because, I'm sorry, one more on the Caterpillar thing. Deborah says on YouTube, nobody said where or how to be a spectator. Go to the exact same website, the operator challenge on the website, and you'll get all the details for times and locations then. I mean, yes, you could sign up then, but cat.com/operator challenge, you can get it there. I do want to go back to one other comment. Galen says on YouTube, seriously, he didn't exactly know why the timing is now. Russia's invasion of Crimea and Ukraine occurred on a Democratic president's watch, so you figure it out. I've got to wonder about that Because no, I those two things happen on the same timeline. Yes, but are you thinking in terms of everything is centered around America? Every other move around the globe is centered based off of who's in charge in America? That was why I asked the question. Was there more at play here? All right, we got to get out of here. Tomorrow's show already stacked up. Got a whole lot coming your way. Fox Business Report's next. So, Galen, no doubt that's going to play a factor in it. But there's so much more to unpack from that one question that it would be its own interview. For example, if I wanted to pursue it down this path, I could. Does the fact that Vladimir Putin did not invade Ukraine on Donald Trump's watch mean that those two are buddies? See, now that question sounds completely different, doesn't it? Is he scared of Donald Trump? Maybe, maybe not. Crimea happened on Obama's watch. This happened on Biden's watch. And the other question that I want to explore, and I think you're going to like this answer a lot better, Galen. Are we looking at a repeat of the late 70s? I mean, hell, Joe Biden actually said Iranian instead of Ukrainian during the State of the Union speech. And what the shit was with Nancy Pelosi's little about to get some dance? What was that? Did you see that, Taylor? Did you? I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I saw it. I don't watch the whole thing. I can't.
Like there's 1 minute left on the timer and the cookies are coming out of the oven. He's talking about death and destruction of a country, and she's like, "Get your
By the way, did she get another facelift? I think she did.
It's possible.
I think the cheeks were a little
tighter.
I liked
I mean,
it.
you're gonna be on national
It was
television.
like the opposite of having a dip in.
You're gonna.
That's how I look at
the
things.
concavity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, but the question becomes, and this is the better question, and I am forever an optimist, Galen, so run with me on this, okay? Are we looking at a repeat of the late 70s? Are we about to be the shining city on a hill again? And if so, who's the man to take us there? And the sad thing is, I don't think it could be Trump. If you're a Trump supporter,
Trump
that's
can't
the
get
sad
elected.
thing. Huh?
Trump can't get elected.
I know. Here's the thing, though. If you're looking at a repeat of history, Trump becomes Nixon.
Yeah, if you're a Republican and you want a Republican in the White House, don't vote for Donald Trump. You can't win.
I agree with this. Vilified too much.
Yep, can't do it.
But who is it? Rhonda?
That'd be my choice.
Rhonda Santis?
Yeah, that'd be my choice. You know what's funny
I know,
about
it's
that?
Ron DeSantis.
Well, what's funny
It's
about that
fun
is
with
like
words
this
to say
day and
Rhonda.
age,
What?
you can identify as like a high chair if you want to.
Well, that's true.
He would have an easy transition.
Hey,
Instead of Ron
watch it with the
DeSantis,
transition.
he's Rhonda.
Yeah. Rhonda Santis.
Perfect.
Yeah. We didn't get to, coming up Tuesday is the 6th annual pardoning of the crawfish. Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser, very soft on crawfish. There will be a crawfish pardoned on March 8th. What? I mean, if you want the job of governor, you know, he's going to be issuing pardons all left and right based off of crawfish. Also coming up is going to be the Open Data Day virtual event. Why am I going through this? We're not talking about any of this crap on the show tomorrow. Scott Angel used to head up the Bureau for Energy and Environmental Safety. Anyway, he's going to be on with me tomorrow to talk about energy and Russia and cutting them off at the pump. Haggai's going to be for a cup of tech gumbo. I'm trying to remember everything that's lined up. I've got the whole show lined up, and I don't. Oh, Rocco! We're going to get some Lenten po' boys up in this foo.
Shrimp po' boys?
Shrimp po' boy. I'm
Like
going to see if I can't talk him into the seafood muffalata. Because, you know, sacrifice.
Yeah. I got a picture.
All right, I got to get out of here, y'all. We will see you tomorrow. Thanks for playing along. Thanks for having a good time.